am Sure Sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is Righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am Sure Sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over your son.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Tricknick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
So, good afternoon, everyone. This is your lovable host, Stan Kronke, sitting in as a guest host for the famous or infamous Manning's man who's away on national duty. And I will say, as many of you know, we just came out of the press conference that was held for the Reggae Boys, preview for the game upcoming against Jordan tomorrow. And by the way, again, it's early tomorrow. I think it's, not mistaken, it's 7 in Jamaica time, 8 New York time. So hopefully you can, it's holidays in the US, so you'll be able to join. And other parts of the world, hopefully you can join for the game. I do not have the media source where the game will occur, but we'll try to get that sometime during the program. Big deal, say Kronke. I'll get to the comment section at some point. Big deal. And by the way, you guys will have to forgive me. I'm not used to running. There's a lot that goes on behind the scene when you're the host of a StreamYard program. So even though a lot of YouTubers are doing this, I am not very familiar, but I will do my best. So you can tell me where I'm messing up, because I know you guys love to give feedback. But the press conference was interesting. I thought the most interesting thing about the press conference was when the coach says Manning's man got a yellow card. And if you've heard about Manning's man and what he does at games and how he gets into the game and how emotive he gets, that's not shocking, actually. As I said on the press conference, I'm surprised. If VAR was there, he probably would get a red, knowing how emotional he gets. But that shows you the passion he has for the game and for his country and his desire for the team to do well. But welcome. I'm going to touch upon a number of things. A little bit of press conference. Not sure we got anything at the press conference which was revealing or what we could take away, except to say that I would say a couple things. One is Simon does a very, very good job. And you guys can tell me if I'm off on this, which is the level of professionalism in terms of how he conducts the press conference is night and day to me, actually. He's eloquent, he's articulate. He tries to make sure he gets all the personnel on the scene who are deemed to be media, whether traditional or new media, involved in the conversation, be able to ask questions. He give you question and follow-up questions, so you feel like you're part of the program. And it's really well organized, really well situated. It's what you see in a normal professional environment, frankly. And I know that's what Simon does for a living, but pretty pleased that he's involved, which is an upgrade. And I'm sure my infamous or famous friend Manning's man is also behind the scenes, also assisting. So really good situation, really good deal. And really, I think we have all talked about this in the YouTube environment, which is we want to see more individuals with the requisite capability to be involved in the national program. You know, we hear a lot more recently, and I digress a little bit, about individuals who are now considering running for president of the JFF, but who have been involved with the program for years. I think this will have to be revisited, because if you're regurgitating the same old thing, it doesn't really work actually. When you say you heard nothing real about it, am I assuming that the fans were not in the conference? It was only the media. So maybe we'll mention some of those things. I'm not sure if that was published subsequently, but it was really, I wouldn't say interesting discussion, not the same recurring question. I joined the conference late because I had an emergency I had to take care of. I joined the conference late, but I should be remiss if I didn't say Happy Father's Day, Happy Father's Day, I should say, to all the fathers out there. And I'm gonna make my own little social comment, which is, if you're a father, act like a father. Don't be what I call a donor. Or a donor, we call them. Be a real father. Be in the kid's life from inception to culmination. Well, not even culmination, but inception throughout their life. Culmination means you're passed away. But be in their life from day one. Not only providing with financial resources, but be a present father. You're supportive. If it's a male child you have, you're being that male in the household for that child. If it's a female child you have, you're being the dad for them. You're helping them. You're guiding them. You're helping them mature into responsible adults and productive citizens. And I know a lot of people take their father and they have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. And if you ask them how they support the kid, materially or otherwise, they can't articulate that. So that's not a good thing. So my hope is that you're a real father. And those of you who are fathers, hope you have a great day today. I've been running around this morning because my niece here has a real bad case of COVID. So it hasn't been, even though I think I'm a dad to my niece and my nephews, it hasn't been the best day, frankly. But it's good to be here with you and to talk football and to talk about a little bit about the press conference. But I want to talk more about the upcoming Gold Cup, the preparation for the Gold Cup itself, your expectation, your perspective. What do you expect? Are you optimistic about how we will do, what we will do? And as I mentioned, I asked a question in the press conference, which I'll also talk about a little bit, where the preparation has not been ideal. But as I said before, I joined the press conference late. I think when the last question was asked by the traditional media, so I didn't hear the question. So YouTubers were allowed to ask questions, and a number of them did. And this is not to be critical of YouTubers, because I'm sure they'll take it the right way, but if you're involved in a national environment, an environment where people are operating professionally, then the same professionalism you expect, you also should exhibit. You should provide the same professionalism. And it wasn't always indicative in that environment. First of all, you should come prepared with your question that you want to ask and self-critique yourself to make sure the question is incisive, it's thoughtful, and it's going to resonate. And second, if the person who's conducting the discussion can't reach you or doesn't have to give you the time you desire, you can't be offended by that, right? These things happen. You can't be offended, so you can't take it personal. And I think that came across a little bit today. But I think a lot of questions were more around, in general, about the preparation, how the coach thinks things are going. Is he okay? I'm not sure we expect him not to be okay. Is he okay? Is it ideal or not ideal not to have all the players? How can he implement his system or his strategy when a lot of times the players are not available? And my question to him was, my question was mainly around this, which is, it's end of season. We see in a lot of instances where teams like Argentina or England it's a long, hard year season. We all agree. Players need rest. We all agree. But you look at Argentina, you look at England, you look at Brazil, they have most, if not all their players available for friendlies and or tournaments. And so therefore, whenever they get together, the coach can implement his or her strategy, and it will be for all the players who are available. Unless the player is injured, most times they're there with their national team. And we're not afforded that. And I think that's a concern, actually. We all understand the reason and excuses. But at some point, if we want to be successful, we have to find a way to work around those challenges, because it's not sustainable. If you want to have sustained success, you have to have all your tools and mechanisms in place to allow you to be successful. And right now, that's not available to us. So that's not great, actually. So if you think about the Gold Cup and what our expectation is, and the team we think will compete in the Gold Cup, the starting 11, I would say maybe 4 or 5 people are in Austria from this. Now, how can that be ideal when you try to prepare? Your first game is against, even though it's the US, I'm going to call it MLS team, still a very good team, and they have used that team to win the Gold Cup already. How can you prepare ideally for that opponent when half your team is not there? Now, I'm not going to say Jamaica is an afterthought for those players, because I do understand if Pinnock has a newborn baby, I'm sure if he leaves, his wife is going to say, "Don't come back home." I mean, if each of us have a newborn baby, no matter what the facts and circumstances, we're going to be with that child, and we should be. We are fathers or we're mothers, right? If you just play a season as long as Antonio, and you just won a championship, and you haven't taken vacation all year with a family, you want to. But having said all of that, we seem to have excuses for every window while a lot of the team can't be there. And even though we sometimes understand the reasons, could be injuries, it could be family situation, it's getting to be a theme when we don't see that same theme with a lot of other national programs, at least the more mature programs that I know. I don't follow the African teams. I don't follow Latin American teams. I will have knowledge of them, but not in-depth knowledge, but I follow some of the more mature industrialized countries. And most times when they have games, most of the players are there. And I don't think it's a club situation. I know I see someone asking, I'm going to post this one actually. Sure improvements. Kronke, do you believe clubs get different rules for players playing in Europe than those playing for teams like Jamaica? No, I don't think it's a club situation or any of that. I think it's more of a player's decision. And what happens in this situation is the JFF and or the coach have to make excuses to appease the general public when it may not be reflective of reality. And we know this, right? And they can't do any different, because then they would be leaders, they would be managers. But we can read between the lines. So I heard Military Guna yesterday. I called into his program talking about Amari Hutchinson and maybe the rationale as to why he's not going to be at the Gold Cup is because he wants to protect his eligibility. I'm going to paraphrase and use my words, not his words. He wants to protect his eligibility and not be committed to Jamaica when he's probably see how things are going. And look, he's young. He's 19? I don't blame the kid. He's young, but I don't know what the excuse is for more seasoned players, right? As to why some players don't want to commit when we know sometimes they're not going to get into other national teams. So if it's a choice situation, why aren't they committed? Or if they commit, they're not available. And after a while, it gets challenging. Now, I know Jamaica is 9 hours away from the UK, or the US is 7.5 hours. Okay, I understand all of that. And trust me, travel can be challenging, especially after a long season. So what I would love to see is the players, the JFF, the coaching staff and managers sit down and work out how we want to operate going forward. It's not okay for fans like myself and many of you in the chat who would love to see the entire team as a very organized team who are focused on achieving a common objective, which we want all, which is to win any competition and every game we play in. And we can't seem to get 11 starting players on the team at any point in time when those players are not injured. And if they're injured, they can't play. That's a fact. But why is it so difficult for us to get all those players on the field simultaneously? but other countries seem to be able to accomplish that. Now, I would agree, there's some logistic challenge, right? If you're part of the England national team, very few players play overseas. They may play in Syria, which is close, hop, skip, and jump to get back home. So then we're all in normally one location. My hope would have been, since most of this national team is based probably overseas, I'll probably say in Europe, at least the ones who are going to be starters, that we're in Austria, that most of them would have been able to make it, right? I know Amari, Bell made it. I know DJ made it, which shows their commitment. And I don't want to call it a commitment issue. I should manage that, actually, which is, I do understand the challenge that players face, but we have to find a better way to give the coach the best chance for success. And right now, we're not giving the coach the best chance for success. We can critique the coach all we want, but he's working with a moving target. Today, he has 5 starters. Tomorrow, he has 4. The next day, he may have 1. The next day, he has 7. That's not a recipe for success. In fact, that's a clear recipe for failure. So we have to find a way with the administration, the players, and the coach to align what we're trying to accomplish and then put in place a process to help us accomplish our objective. And I know some people think it's just excuses that players are coming up with. Sometimes it is, frankly. Players may just want to go on vacation, want to go party, want to do whatever they do. They'll come up with excuses. But, and I don't want to use the word commitment, because if a player tells me they want to play for my country and they've come to a number of games, that to me is commitment, right? I want to make a point, actually, which is very important, guys. I'm going to give you a scenario, because I know we Jamaicans like to provide a view on players who were probably developed or born overseas about their commitment to Jamaica or lack there, right? So I'm gonna give you a scenario, as Kyle would say, hypothetical. So I have an Asian person born in Jamaica. He's a table tennis player and he's brilliant, right? But he just can't get into no, you know what? Let me use a different example. A runner, track and field, because we're not running at table tennis. We used to be good. He's a very good runner, but just can't get into the national team. But has a chance to get into the national, go run the World Championship or run at the Olympics. And that runner, and though it does happen, who's on the cusp of it and could actually beat the runner there, decided to go run for another country where he or she parents. So he's an Asian person, Chinese immigrant or Indian immigrant, 2 generations out, but still qualified. Would we be happy with that? When they probably can make our team, probably not only make our team, probably be one of the dominant runners, would we be happy with that? Or would we think they're not loyal? Would we think they're traitors, get to be extreme? Would we think they're not patriots, right? So what you should do sometimes is flip the argument, which is whenever you have a situation or you have a position, you're going to argue a position, play devil's advocate and come up with a counter argument, which will make your argument more foolproof or less subject to challenge. And then you have a different perspective. I don't want to use the word commitment, because someone born in another country, no matter what their lineage or parents are from, and decide to come and play for my country, that's some kind of commitment. Some people would have to do which is negative, which is, well, they can't get the England team, so they come play for us. But frankly, both parties have to be committed, one. Secondly, it is taxing on the body to fly 9 hours and to fly to this part of the world all the time when we have open with FIFA windows open. It is challenging. It's not always easy. And especially when you have families back home and family commitment, right? It can be challenging. So let's all try to be on the same page. I think the players need to do better. I think the fans need to do better. But I want the JFF to be the mediator, to be the party who bring this all together and allow us and work with us to be successful. And most often having the best team on, not only on paper, but physically present to give the coach the best chance for success. I hear Brain Drain says, so, you know, Brain can make this comment. I ran away from Jamaica. I was not committed. I think you chose yourself versus Jamaica. You probably chose your ability to increase your earnings power and to help your family. That's why a lot of us actually migrate because we know where we are. The opportunities may not be there, and therefore we go to other regions, not necessarily the U.S. alone or England, but any part we can get resources to help yourself and your family. So nothing wrong with the individual trying to maximize their situation. And so we should think about it as we think about players. And we sometimes, as fans, are very selfish. It's all about us. So we want what we want. We don't give consideration for anyone else but ourselves, right? We want Jamaica to win. We want our players to be present. We don't care about their personal situation. If they're not playing well, we want the coach to get rid of them, bring a new one in, just discard them. We don't think about the players' feelings. I think we have to be more considerate as we go forward. Duckland says, you're sitting on the fence, Kronke. The players need to be present or stay away from my team. And Duckland, that's part of Jamaica's problem, actually. This whole concept of extremism. You have to be extreme. It has to be one or the other. It can't be anything in the middle. I'll tell you, the world is full of compromise, right? You hear Iran is negotiating with the U.S. about their nuclear program when they're mortal enemies. So even enemies get together and try to negotiate and try to compromise. If you want to be successful in life, you have to learn how to compromise. It's not a if or but. It's not a one way or the other. It's my way or the highway. Sometimes it's someplace in the middle. What I would love to see happens, and I'm not on the fence, because I do understand both sides, but it can't be every single window around what I'm talking about where people are not available. It has to be, you know what, maybe I'll do 3 out of 5 windows, but I'm definitely going to have to be there, and 2 are much more subjective, and I can not necessarily commit for 2, but it can't, and we acted those 3 windows, everyone come into those 3 windows, not just 4 or 5 or 6 players. The entire provisional squad, frankly, should be available. And even if you're not selected in the 23 or 25, then you know you're on call. So anywhere you are in the world, you know that if you're going to do something, you have to be in a situation or a location where it's easily accessible to where the team is going to be. I think that's an imperative, and that's very important. So I do think, though, we have to give some latitude and leeway to players. But I think the players also need to do better, because sometimes they can do better. On the whole point of I want to transition a little bit to the Gold Cup, and let me know what your expectations are. Do you expect us to win? How you expect us to do? We have some interesting games. We definitively have Trinidad and the US, and the US is our first game. And I think my question in the press conference to the coach was, if you don't have all your players available and you're going to play your first game against the US, I don't know how you implement your system or your strategy for the game when you have a game situation to do so. You can try practice, but unless you're playing against opposition who are going to play full tilt, like the Jordan or like Qatar, then how can you implement your strategy when half your team is not there? So we continue to have a pickup team 24/7. When we're going into major tournaments, that can't be a recipe for success, actually. So hopefully we'll do better. I'll put this up to say, first God say, hit the like if you like the program. If you don't like it, just hit you don't like it, right? It's important. First God said, most of the missing players already know what the coach wants to do. And I think, Fresh God, they said that in the press conference also. That's what Gordon said when the question was asked. I'm sorry. I don't want to say that's nonsense, but that's the political response, right? For every opponent you face, something got to tailor your strategy for that opponent, especially a major opponent like the US. When have we played the US with this coach so he can think about who are the players they're going to have on their team? What strategy they normally employ? What system they play? How does the system align to our system? Do I have to tinker with my system? Do I want to play low block? Do I want to press? How do we press? Because I watched the game against Qatar and we were pressing. We're pressing with Nicholson and Burke all over the place. And then my wingers are nowhere close. So the press is ineffective because the other team have outlets to move the ball up the field. How do I synchronize my press and do it in practice or in a game to make sure it's assured success when I go into competition? So I'm not buying this notion that, they already know what the coach is doing. No, they don't. How many games have they played with this coach? We played Mexico with some of the main players. That was it. We played Trinidad twice. That wasn't the case. We played Argentina. We had a number of them, but not all of them. When we played Cameroon, it's a different team. So I'm not sure when we say they know what the coach wants. You only know what the coach wants if the coach tells you. So I'm not buying that. Henry's saying the coach was clear. He made a decision about the players' availability, collaboration, consultation with their players and their clubs. The coach has to be a politician. I'm not. And I understand what the coach is doing, and I wouldn't expect any other answers from him. And if he did, I would be very disappointed if he did, because then he wouldn't be, to me, be a leader and someone who knows to manage public perception. But I'm not buying it. The coach would love to have Antonio, DJ, Amari Bell, all those players. Demari Gray, who I'm not even sure what his situation is. I know he's got his papers. Not sure why he's not there or in the squad. But I know he's going to play the Gold Cup, even though all indications supposedly he will. So I'm not buying this notion, what the coach is saying. But I expect that's what he should say. That's what he should say. Doesn't mean that that's the actual situation. So my hope is that going forward, there's a sit down between the three key parties that I mentioned at the outset: players, the coach and his management team, and the administration, and we work out something that will work well for the players. We don't have to call the players every single window. In fact, we shouldn't, because we need to give locally developed players a chance to participate in international friendlies. And it may not satisfy us from a ranking standpoint or satisfy us from a fan standpoint in terms of the outcome, in terms of victory. But I'm not opposed to that. But it can be the norm versus an aberration, right? It can't be. There has to be a way in which we change that view. So tell me what your thoughts are concerning how you think we're going to do in the Gold Cup, especially given that preparations have not been ideal. Do you think we'll win? Do you think we'll make the semis, the finals? And first question is going to be, what are your thoughts on the U.S. game? We haven't really prepared for that game, frankly. I haven't seen a strategy deployed and employed by the coach about how we're going to play. I don't know what system we're playing because I haven't seen it, even though I keep hearing that everyone understands what the coach is doing in the system. Maybe I'm not that informed or perceptive as a fan, as a viewer, but I can't see something that's definitive that we're utilizing as a nation when we play. So I don't know. Maybe it is, but I can't tell. Pagan say, "Well, Kronke the fuck today." So I guess today is spelled today. I didn't know that spelling, Pagan. I'm not anything. I'm just observing and providing a perspective. We all have our views on how things should work. We all operate in different environments in life, whether in the corporate environment, your personal household, you're part of a non-for-profit organization. But if you don't plan, have structure, have all your tools, I have no idea how you're going to be successful. In fact, I'll be shocked if you're successful, because you need to have all the things you need at your disposal to give you the best chance of success. And right now we don't. And it has to be that we find a way to change that. Stefan Wright is saying, I agree, Kronke, and these games initially geared towards preparation for the Gold Cup. Exactly, Stefan. So I have said it before, and it seems like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, that I understand why the players sometimes are challenged after a long season. But I do think, I don't see that collaboration and engagement between all the parties to have a compromise. Maybe the players should take a week off, come and play the Gold Cup, and then go back to their teams. Even though this has been one of those unique seasons where the World Cup fell in the middle of the season, the leagues ran longer than they normally would, and the Gold Cup obviously didn't consider all of this. So when you leave the Gold Cup mid-July, you go right back into preseason. That's not ideal either. And I know in England, I'm very familiar with how people think about their holidays, but the players are not. They plan to go to Ibiza, they plan to go to Morocco, they plan to go to Egypt. It's with their family, and sometimes only Jack can change their views about taking their vacation. But if we have better preparation up front about what that would look like, then we'd be much more informed about what we will do come these tournaments. Better prepare for them, put ourselves in position for success. And since before World Cup qualifiers, we've been having what I call a pickup team. And this pickup team has to change, right? If you look at the England team, if you look at any one of the teams, frankly, there's probably 14, 15 regulars, 3 or 4 ifs, 3 or 4 open spaces. That's it for the team. We seem to be changing personnel. We change our clothes every day. And that can't be good. And my hope, by the way, is that I know the coach, I've said this, the coach is in a recruiting endeavor. He's in a recruiting process and probably do so for, I think, for the next 4 to 10 months in his recruiting. I'm sure he's trying to uplift the talent and probably trying to source talent from leagues such as the Premier League versus, say, League One or League Two or the Championship or USL, maybe MLS and or Premier League or Dutch Premier League or their main league. So he's trying to source players from those sources, and then he can bring those players together. But as he goes through that journey, the more you bring in those players who are competent, capable at a different level, the more it's challenging to manage them because they're going to have certain level of entitlement, and the more even they affect your ability to have the same squad. So we need to have that conversation, that engage, that communication with our team and set down parameters about how we can operate. And right now, that's definitely not in place. Kimara saying, Kronke, I think this would be a positive for the team. Most of our players are number fragile. They need a time. You're saying they're fragile? I think they don't look fragile to me, given they play long seasons. Maybe Stewart has always been injured, but most of them have had a good. Even Antonio has not been injured this year. The coaches are core. What's that core, Kimara? Let me hear that core. Because I haven't seen that core. Do we have 12, 13 core players who are in the team and available for most, if not all, windows? You should have about 15 or 16. I haven't really seen that core. Maybe there's a core, but I haven't seen the core. Right? We're still recruiting. We're still bringing players in. We're still getting players to be available for in a number of different windows, no matter what the window is, even sometimes for World Cup qualifiers. So I don't know where that core is, and I don't know where that availability is, but that has to change. So I think I've beaten that to death, actually. I think I spent the first. And by the way, I should say this. I'm not like Manny Smith. I don't have a 4-hour program. I may do this for an hour and a half. I'm not doing it for 4 hours. So I would love to get your questions and our comments because you are the program. I am just hosting. You're the program. You're why we do this. Your contribution is imperative. We have a collection of intellectual capital in the audience. We'd love to get your views. If I don't post your comment up or mention your comment because I'm still trying to figure out how to work this system. Zabad, I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm gonna call it Za. Za is saying, do you agree with the exclusion of Andre Gray and Jamal Lowe for Whisper? Well, I wouldn't say for Whisper. I would just answer the question, mutual exclusion for Whisper, which is, do I agree with the exclusion of Andre Gray and Jamal Lowe? I don't have a problem with that, actually, given who we suppose they're bringing in. So if you're going to say, we're bringing in Whisper and we're bringing in Damari Gray to replace those two, even though Gray is a center forward, I don't have a problem with it. If you said Gray for Burke, I could actually see that, right? But I can understand why the coach may want Burke in the side, given that he's just a really hard worker, even though I think he has some challenges with his overall technical game. And I think Whisper, I've said this before in other forums, I think Whisper is the future of Jamaica's football. And not because he went to Casey, by the way. That's not it. I watched the kid play. I think the kid has a number of attributes which are really good. He's fearless. He has a really good left foot, and he can actually do something with his right foot. He dribbles well. He can see a pass. He's good at taking free kick. He's good at moving into space. He has size. He recognizes defense, at least when he's playing offense, and I'll talk about some of his challenges. He recognizes defense well and make good decisions most times, even though I think sometimes he could be quicker with his passes. And I think he has all the raw skill set and attributes and capabilities to be in the program for years to come and to be a very, very good player. And he's also pretty quick, actually. I think you can see some of his deficiencies, such as because he's played where he's been the man, I think, in the youth programs, he hasn't had to play both ways, mainly offensively. He needs to think about both sides of the ball. I can tell you in the Qatar game, the first goal, he was partly culpable for that goal. I think sometimes he's watching the play and realizing, oh, I'm supposed to go back and help my defenders. So I do think he needs to improve certain aspects of the game, but he's young. The kid is not 20 yet. What, he's 18, 17, 18? He has a long runway, and I have a ton of time for Whisper because I like players who have certain attributes and skill set. So, Mr. Tiga, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sir Cataract. What's going on? Cataract, man. Sorry. Kronke. Sorry, Kronke. Kronke, I apologize.
I think you need to apologize over and over and over again for calling me Cataract. I mean, that's...
I see at the K name, man. At the K name. I apologize.
So you know I have a rule. You know I have a rule, Tiga. I have a rule.
I apologize.
My rule is that... You know what my rule is?
I call you more than one time, Cataract. I am so sorry. Mr.
No, you know what my rule is? You know what my rule is? If you're on video, you should be on video. If you wouldn't be on the phone, even though I don't have a phone for you.
That is true, but right now I can't be on video. You understand? I can't be on video. If you're going to give me, you know what? I'll join you in a couple minutes time where I can come on video. You mind that?
No, I don't mind that. But if you're on video, if you're on a video forum, you should be on video.
All right, cool.
Cool, sir. By the way, I don't have a phone for you to call me because I'm on for management, so you can't call me directly. So I apologize for that. But yeah. So Kimar is saying, Kronke, the regular culprits are Leon, Antonio, Bobby, Lowe, Pinnock, Bell, Dexter, Blake. Okay, so for all of you in the chat, let's say this is the regular players. How many of these players are in Austria? Which is preparation for the Gold Cup. Is Leon there? Is Antonio there? Is Bobby there? I know Lowe is injured. Is Pinnock there? I mean, and DJ probably came late because don't came for a few games. So half that list you just mentioned are not there. That's why it's not a recipe for success. Frankly, it's a recipe for failure, frankly. And that's why that needs to change. It can be that, and that's why I want to move away from this discussion about availability of players, but that's not a recipe for success. So I'm going to go back to the question again about Andre Gray and Lowe. And Frank, for Lowe, so for Andre Gray, I think Gray has come to what I call the twilight of his career. He's not the same guy who played for Watford way back when, or played the championship, rugged, quick, physical. He slowed down significantly. And even though as a player, he still has some of the attributes you want in a player, when you can't get there physically, because he can't really press, it affects your game materially in today's football. So, and he can't move as well as he used to. So I don't have a problem with it was Whisper and Damari Gray replacing Andre Gray. And for Jamal Lowe, even though Jamal Lowe is a good player, and I look at all his skill sets and attributes, I don't think he's indispensable. The player's a good player, but if Whisper or Gray replace him, I think it's a good replacement. Actually, what we do need, even though I say I'm going to finish with the availability question and comment, we need about 30 interchangeable players. So you'll have a few who are exceptions, but where you know what? If we miss 6, 7, 8 of them, they're not available, then their game is at risk. And they can be replaced. Right now, we're not in a position, where we have interchangeable players. So if we lose a Pinnock, if we lose a Blake, if we lose a DJ, Antonio, we have a like-for-like replacement. Nicholas is a very good player, but let's be honest, he's not at the Antonio level either. I like Nicholas's game. I think his game has gotten better. as his time in Europe increases. First, got to say I'm having internet problems. You guys can't hear me or see me? I'm seeing myself well. I'm not sure what's happening. Let me check my feed. You know what? I probably need to change my laptop, even though I think my MacBook Pro is probably about 4 years old. Maybe time for an update. Let me see if I can get my internet address. I think I went from works actually. All right, it should be better now. Thanks, First God, for that notification. Pagan is saying I'm off. Pagan, I say it's blurry. Can you see me now? Is it any better? I'm not sure what's happening because I can see myself pretty well. So maybe the only one see myself really well. I do. I was thinking about waiting till next year to buy my computer, my new computer, but I think I have to do it now because it's been messed up for the last 2 months or so. Is it still blurry, guys? You see how blurry, man? Maybe that's good. Maybe blurry is better than my actual look at how it is. I'm not sure why it's blurry though. It's coming across well for me, so I'm not sure why. Peter Mystic saying, I'm seeing and hearing you clearly, no issue for us. God may have an issue on his hand. I'm not sure what that is or what you mean by that, Peter Mystic, but hopefully, guys, it's better. I did change my linkage here, so it should be better. It should be better. But no, tell me what your thoughts are on the upcoming Gold Cup, which is where the focus should be. We're playing the US this upcoming weekend. They're using their MLS team, but unlike the US, we don't have 30, 40 interchangeable players. Now, I think they're using their overseas-based players for the Nations League, which is only 2 games. I'm sure they expect a longer run in the Gold Cup, so maybe that's why they swapped the teams out. I think they only have 5 players who are going to be in both squads, and one of them is a goalkeeper. So, but at the end of the day, frankly, I want to get your view on how you think we'll do in the Gold Cup, and also who you think are going to be the main players for the Gold Cup. Let me rephrase that: a surprise player. Don't give me a normal, regular player like Antonio. Who you think will be a surprise player for us, and who's going to stamp their mark as we play the US and Trinidad and whoever else comes out of the playoff again for the Gold Cup? Do you see any player in the team who may not necessarily be prominent? Like a Whisper, for example, who you think will be exceptional if he does play, because it may be interesting whether he starts or not, given that Gray may be available, Leon is available, and we have other players such as a Paris who may also be available. Do you expect Whisper to start? And if so, how do you think he'll perform at the Gold Cup? We did ask, and nobody asked about Demar Gray. I think the question was asked, but as I said, I joined the press conference late, so I may not have gotten that question. Actually, I may not have heard the response to the question, but I joined subsequent to the traditional media asking the question. I think the way Simon had structured the press conference is traditional media go first, and then other media platforms actually spoke. And maybe if I can get T-Got to come back, who was there throughout the press conference, I'll have him give you a more detailed perspective on the press conference and how it went, actually, because I only got in when I'm going to call them the new media or YouTubers started asking the question. And you hear my little perspective on that YouTubers got to be more prepared to ask more insightful questions in that forum. Richard Green said, I think Whisper will have a wonderful Gold Cup. Yeah, Richard, I am of the same view also. If he plays a lot, because sometimes we go into these games, you want to play your more seasoned team, and the team with players who probably have more pedigree, of much more experience. But I hope he gets decent game time, not just 5-10 minutes, since part of the Gold Cup preparation is for World Cup qualifiers or blending in players, getting them prepared, getting them in operating or playing in hostile environment, getting them playing against a better team. And if he's going to be one of the players who the coach seemed to like a lot, frankly, I think the coach had a lot of time for him, then he should also be given game time in the Gold Cup and quite a bit of accident. So hopefully Whisper does get some time. So I'm not hearing your comments or seeing your comments around who you think will do in the Gold Cup. I am optimistic. I did ask Blake in the press conference whether or not, what were some of the challenges and or impediments for success. I think he seemed pretty confident. He mentioned that they have been to 2 finals. He doesn't see any, and I'm gonna paraphrase what he said, mainly that he doesn't have any concerns or see anything that preclude them from being successful. I think one thing he mentioned was the need for us, everyone, to operate as a team, to do the hard work, which I think, from infer from that comment, is to work on defensive end. You hear me mention about Whisper earlier, and the fact that he laps on defense sometimes. I think what Blake sort of alluded to, in my own words, is a more cohesive way of operating both offensively and defensively. That's a better recipe for success. So I do think he's optimistic, and I want to know if you have the same optimism as he does. But I do have a good view. I have a good feeling about if we have all the players, even though you hear me say this a lot of times, it's a pickup team. If we have all the players, I think we'll do well. If we'll do well, even though it's a pickup team, because I am of the firm believer that the most significant or the best asset you have for your football team is the product, and that's the players, that's the capability of the players. Even if the coach is brilliant, the administration is brilliant, the support staff is brilliant, you have great. I think of all those things that you want, that is a recipe for success. It's about the quality of the players. Now, coaches can be the difference, but if you have really, really good players, then at least you have a great start, and if they're positioned well, they can be successful. Sure Improvement is saying, I see people questioning Whisper. I'm going to put my term, Whisper's defensive role, but obviously Shamar was the one who was asked to come back. The defender just failed to clear the ball to him to use the speed against the opposing defenders. I'm not sure what that means, Sure Improvement. Nicholson is playing center forward. I think we're probably using 2 people up front between him and Burke. So how's he going to get back on the wing where the first goal was scored to cover where Whisper is the closest person, or the right midfielder is the closest person to the right back? So it's either King and or Russell and or Whisper, and the ball was played outside of the person, the Qatari forward who had the ball. There was no one on the outside to help defend with Lembakisi. So not sure when we talk about that goal, whether it was Whisper or that Nicholson was asked to come back. Most times, 11 players play defense, not 7 or 8. Now, if your strategy is to keep 2 people up top, so you can, therefore the other team may have to have 3 defenders for those 2 individuals, that'd be part of your strategy. I think Crystal Palace used that sometime with Zaha, who doesn't like to run back anyway, and they're center forward something, they stay upfield and don't come back. And sometimes Spurs does that when they play against Man City, so they'll keep people upfield and say, you know what, if you attack me with 9 or 10 people, when you lose the ball, you're at a disadvantage. I'm going to take the risk I have with the individuals who I have defending. But I don't think that was a coach's strategy. I don't think that was a coach's strategy at all. Let me post the. So Ian Cameron says, well, Ian is an eternal optimist. I am of the view that Jamaica will win this Gold Cup. Well, hope you're right, Ian. It's not impossible. We have been to 2 finals. But I would say, though, even though when we make the semifinal and the finals, we didn't look, I'm going from my perspective, that we can impose our will on teams we play. I think this team, if we have all the players available, will have the ability to, 1, be co-favorites if they get far in the tournament, or be able to better control the game, have a possession of the ball and impose their will versus soaking up pressure and trying to hit on the counter. So part of my challenge when I look at the team that have gone to the World Cup semifinal or finals, we still were defending most of the time and not necessarily on the front foot in terms of being on the offensive. I would love to also get to a point when we play the Canadas, Mexico, Costa Ricas of the world, and US, that they're the ones who are on the back foot and defending and look in trouble versus the other way around, right? We sometimes are just trying to stave off danger versus imposing our will on the opposition. And I think we need to do more of that. And so we need our best players who are put in a position to be successful to be able to do so. Right now, we don't really have that. People are saying, I would like to know what the thought process is and who's responsible for having Jamaica play US for the first game. I don't know, Peter Mystic. Maybe they want interest. If you want to drum up interest in any tournament, put some of your better teams at the outset, right? This is not the World Cup where the host has to play the first game, right? Well, here the US is the host, and why not put them with a good team so people garner interest? Kyle, how are you doing? What do you have to say?
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
Man's man told me to run in and help you out as soon as possible.
I'm struggling.
So I said, yeah, all right, let me jump on.
Thanks for the help, Manning's man. I need it. I don't know how we do. I'm not like Cataract or Manning's man. Can do this long soliloquy, so
no,
you have a problem with the help. How you doing?
Good. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. You know.
Same to you, sir.
Oh boy, don't tell me, Sir Kronke. Okay, good. No, I was just getting a buffer in. Good.
I don't know what's happening with my system. I have to change it out. I pay a lot for my internet, and I'm supposed to have like a gig or two, so I'm not sure what's happening. Yeah, I have to change it out because that's not a good look.
I know, and it's a nice sunny day. No rain, because normally when you have rain, it kind of bogs it up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The game coming up. Which one you're talking about? The Jordan game or the USA game?
I don't talk about the Jordan game. I am spending less time talking about Jordan because I know people are going to have meltdown if we lose again. But the coach will still not have a victory under his hat. I'm more talking about the Gold Cup. Expectations for the Gold Cup. Do you think we'll win? What players do you think will stand out who are not necessarily well-known names? How you think Whisper will do? How you think we'll do about the U.S.? Things of those nature we got to think about and have a perspective on versus Jordan. Because we're not going to learn anything from the Jordan game.
Well, let me answer the easy one first. The standout player will be Whisper. There's no question in my mind. We'll see the raw talent and we'll see the potential. So that's going to be a good thing. I was watching the press conference. I just watched it first before I jumped on to kind of get a grasp of where everybody's head is psychologically. Okay. And what's interesting was what Blake said. Blake said it's good to have people in the camp, build a vibe, blah, 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 blah. But he hit a key word. He said it's good to have people in the camp to have repetitive training or drills so people can understand each other. And at the same time, he's saying that he's very, very optimistic.
Okay? So Kyle, how does that align with Gord's response to my question, which he's saying that the players who are not there are familiar with the coach's methods?
Well, you see, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of contradictory, right?
Yeah.
But they are optimistic. So, I don't want to bust nobody bubble boss, but read between the lines. I'm looking at the squad, and the starters aren't there. No Antonio, no Billy, no Damari Gray,
No Pinnock.
No Pinnock.
Yeah.
I am optimistic. Put it like that. Because I am going there. So, I'm just hoping for the best. But he did make a point. He said, to look at it from another point of view, he did say that repetitive games gives you more confidence, more understanding of each other. When we get out of the first round, we'll be we'll be an oil team. So let's hope that we can build on each game to basically improve.
So the question has been asked is Gray even coming? I'm not sure we're 100% there. The information I got, which don't take it as gospel or Bible, is that Gray has gotten his documents, but is awaiting FIFA clearance. I'm not sure how accurate that is. That's the information I've gotten. So,
right, that's what I heard also. So, FIFA need to hurry up and expedite that process.
yeah,
because he is needed. But technically, Gray also said that. I mean, Blake also said this too. That having the best team on paper, isn't the be all end all. When we need to practice, we need to gel as a team. But from what I see, I mean, we have a pretty powerful team on paper. It's a good team.
Well, on paper, so we want to see them all together, gathering all together, and think about it this way. So they probably all get together by what, Wednesday next week?
Oh,
well, how much time you have between Wednesday and when's the game? Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
So you probably I hope they're flying before Wednesday, because you're flying 7+ hours. At least you're flying to the US, not Jamaica. Maybe 2 hours less.
Everybody should be there by Tuesday. Wednesday to me is kind of cutting it, because Wednesday you're coming in, you're having jet lag, right?
Yeah.
So that's rest. 1 day rest, Thursday, and then Friday.
Plus you're coming from probably vacation, so you haven't trained in the last 2 weeks. So you need to do some running to get back your,
all of that stuff,
muscle memory and all that stuff. So
that have to be factored in. Let me just look at the fixtures real quick. Let me make sure we're on the same thingy page. Wow, hell is it? Jamaica.
Yeah. So no, look, I think that if all the players come in at a decent time, at least they can do a couple walkthroughs before the first game. But it's not ideal when your first game is the hardest game in the group. So if we lose to the US, then we're on the back foot. We know Trinidad, no matter how they comprise and constitute, is going to play. It's going to give us a hard game.
Oh yeah,
it's going to give us a hard game, right? I'm sure they're doing what we're doing, which is recruiting players who they believe have the capability to get into the first team, who may not be locally developed players, just like we are. Because I was watching a game yesterday, and if you're watching St. Kitts or St. Lucia, whoever you're watching, there's a bunch of players who play like championship football or wherever they play who are in those teams. So everyone is trying to get the best team on the field. I'm not sure they're having the same challenge we're doing, trying to get all their players. I know we probably have more than others in players who play away from home, who weren't developed locally. But frankly, teams like Argentina, Brazil, almost all their players play overseas.
Right.
They may have been developed locally, most of them, but they play overseas, and they don't seem to have some of the challenge that we do. Right. I was hoping, Carl, that the Austria get-together would be that we're closer proximity to where the players are in Europe. Hop, skip, and a jump to get across. They all get together. That hasn't materialized. So
that's what everybody was thinking. That was the reason for having the camp in Europe, right? Should be close proximity for everybody to just jump on a bus, quote unquote, figure of speed, and just be there. But everything seems to be I don't know, man, upside down.
It is, and it's normalized actually, which is not good. It's been normalized.
But back to your point though about other teams not having that problem, who have players all over the world. I mean, well, big teams, Brazil, Argentina, they don't have that problem. When they call their matches, players come in and they basically click. So the question is, why can't we do the same? And I believe that we're working to that that kind of system. It's just that the coach needs more time to basically implement his system, his philosophy, his game plan, So when these players come together, it won't be such of a disruption. And you know what, too? So,
Go ahead,
so
man.
Kronke, maybe I'm missing something too, because he did have them down there, going through practice sessions. It was mostly locals.
Right.
Right. So I don't.
Well, it doesn't make sense. You have most of the players as part of your squad are not going to participate when you're playing the first game, right? That's counterproductive. So go back to the press conference. Were you there for the entire press conference?
No. I just came in and I watched the rebroadcast.
Oh, you did? Because I was there for only when the YouTubers started asking questions. So what were some of the questions and our responses that was interesting in the conference?
Like I said, Blake was interesting. The coach, he's a master of psychology. It's interesting though. He said that he isn't too worried about losing. He's more interested in the form of play. People getting to know his system, but then he contradicts himself. If he doesn't start winning, then he'll start getting concerned. So I mean, I can read between the lines in that he is concerned. He wants to win and at the same time implement his system. That will build confidence. So I can read. I can read between the lines. He's worried.
Yeah, Regina is asking the question. Stan, what's the update on Demarai Gray? My understanding is that Gray has his papers, but waiting for FIFA clearance. I'm not sure how long FIFA clearances take. So more to come on that. But I think the expectation is he'll be in the squad. So we'll see if that occurs. I think you're right. If you play 6 games, you don't have a win, you have to be concerned.
All right.
Regardless of what philosophy you want to employ, what strategy you want to employ, what system and play you want to put in place. If you're not winning, then people start questioning whether or not you're the right person for the job, no matter what your resume says.
Yeah, you asked a question about stand-up players. I forgot to mention Boza. I think Boza's going to have a good tournament. I mean, watching him in the game, people like to, people beat him because he missed that chance. But let's be, philosophical about it. He hit the shot on goal. It could have been worse. He could have totally missed the shot. And he was sharp. I mean, he took a nice free kick. The keeper had to jump on his life to save that. Boza was very, very bullish in that game. So come USA and he gets things right, which I believe he will. Yeah, Boza might pull off something too.
Yeah, I saw Boza 2 years ago in Orlando. I watched him play. I think he played most of the games. And when I've seen him subsequent, since he's been in Europe, I think he has improved quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
His hold-up play has improved. His ability on the ball has improved.
Yeah.
His mannerism on the field has improved, which means that his discipline probably has improved. So I think we're seeing the maturation of a player. He's a seasoned veteran in the program now. And it's reflected in his play. But I don't think the service has been what we'd like for our forwards. In that game, Boza, Burke, and others didn't get the level of service for them to really show what for lack of a better colloquial term, what they're made of, right? To show their wear, to show what they bring to the table with the frequency that they may have liked to be able to affect the game. I would take one onus with you, though, on that ball that he got from Whisper. I'm sorry, he has to score. In fact, even though it came with some, I wouldn't call it velocity, a little bit of speed.
It was a perfect.
He could have controlled the ball and put it in the corner.
Yeah.
He had enough time. So there's a level of composure that's required. I think when you're in the game, it's easy for you to say when you're on the sideline watching, but as you go through the game, you repeat these situations and the impromptu-ness of them, you have to be able to have that calmness to know where you are, and decision-making has to be quick and has to be precise to get the outcome you're desiring. So when the ball came into him, it's like I see Lukaku playing when Lukaku missed that goal against Man City. You got to think about, first of all, I have to get away from the keeper, but keep it on target. So that composure when you are under the cuff, as they say in the UK, it's difficult to exhibit some composure, but he has to, right? He has to put that away. And he knows it because he held his head when he missed. So he knows he should have scored. And I think that's what we need to do. Take clear-cut chances. Half chances we can give leeway to, but clear-cut chances we have to put them over the line.
So, question to you now. What do you think the formation is going to be? And you're starting 11.
So those of you in the chat, put up your starting 11 for the Gold Cup, what you expect. Let's say all the players are available, including who, the Pinnocks, even Lowe, who I know has a hamstring problem, but it's coming along. Lowe, Pinnock.
Lowe, you can't put in Lowe.
Like I said before, I know Lowe has been injured, but my understanding he's coming along. So let's assume he's in the squad and he's in the 23. So Lowe, Pinnock, the Whispers, the Bells, the Blakes, the all of the regulars. First of all, what's your 23 that you're predicting, and then what's your starting 11? So take a little bit of time and post that for us. I'm curious to what your thoughts are. And I'm sure we all have a view as to what a 23 should be if it's a 23-man squad, and then what the starting 11 would look like. Now, don't ask me. I'm going to say this now before you get perturbed with me to put this up on the screen because I have no idea how to do so. First and second time running this. So maybe Carl can walk me through this actually.
Yeah, there's something down there. It says, wait. Let me pull up my screen. Oh my God.
I don't see where, and Mannix man, he has prepared me better for this thing, which is walk me through some of these things at some point so I can know how to post players' name and have the whole team post up on the board. So I'm learning on the job. So just think about me being a cashier that's giving the wrong change when they're learning on the job. I'm learning on the job.
All right, Kronke. Down to your bottom, there's the mute button, there's a stop cam, there's a setting, and there's the present button.
Right.
So what you do now is you open a document, either Word or Word doc, and you type up whatever you want. And then when you do that, then you press the present button and it opens your screen to it.
Oh, okay. We won't do that. It's too complicated for me. What I'll do is I'll take your team and I'll post it in the bottom. We'll talk about it.
All right,
So, Kyle, thanks for the suggestion, but post your teams in the chat actually.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
So you have okay. So you have control. So go ahead. Kyle's gonna post this for us. He's gonna type it up in a Word document and then post.
Word or a Google document.
I thought we had to do a search for players, and there's some ability to do that. That's what I'm talking about. Not just put up
that. I'm not familiar with, to be honest.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. To put it on the screen and put us to the side versus I can write it down below, put my team down below, but I prefer to do what I see like all the YouTubers do, which is post it on the screen actually.
You know what? Let me see if I can do that. Give me a second.
So people in the chat, would you start Demario Gray since he's never played a game for Jamaica? He hasn't been in any practice. He has no idea what the coach wants to do. Would you play him as a starter in the first game? Or would you start, say, a whisper and bring him off the bench? What are your thoughts? I think it's difficult for you to come in right into the starting 11 in the team in the first game when you may have only maybe 1 or 2 training sessions with the team. And it wouldn't be probably a too rigorous session either. Owen is asking, is Gray in the Gold Cup? The Gold Cup team has not been announced as yet, actually. It's not my understanding. I think the press conference coach mentioned. He didn't mention, Carl, that they're formalizing or finalizing it, but I don't remember him mentioning that. Because the team, I don't think has been announced. So, and the information we have gotten is that Gray has his papers and is waiting for clearance, but I'm not even sure what that means actually, because sometimes we're given information which one has to question because it may not be reflective of how situations actually work. But Baneful is saying, Gray is that good, he starts for me. So you'd say that you'd start with Gray on one wing and Bailey on the next? Is that what we're suggesting? Okay, so Big Deal is saying that is that they'll announce the squad right after the Jordan game. So thanks on that. Big deal. Wasn't aware of that. So if that's the case, then we should know by midday, at least midday tomorrow. I'm sorry, midday. Yeah, midday tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. Midday tomorrow, we should know what the team will be. There's a view that if we have Antonio, Gray, and Bailey, that'd be a killer front line. But here's a question for you. None of them are in Austria. None of them will be there to even blend with the players that we have on the field. All right. Know any of their tendencies. So that's part of the concern I have is that camaraderie, that getting together, that getting to know each other, their style, how they want to play, where they want the ball, things of that nature. So El Granjero is saying,
can you see that?
Great. Go ahead.
Hey, can you see that? I just shared something with you.
No,
I don't know if you can.
Oh, yes, I do see it.
All right. So I guess you click share or something. I don't know.
It said add to stream. Let's see what this works
out. There you go. Can you? Well, maybe I gotta make it larger.
Yeah, so you gotta make it larger. I can pull it up, but then we're gonna be out of the picture.
Yeah. Do that then.
So we're in a training session while we're doing this program.
Learning this thing, bro.
All right. Yeah. So you had Blake here, but don't you have to put the names in, or how do I get the names?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping that the chat room can help me to fill it out. It's 443. No, what's it? No, 442. You know, and let's see what the chat room says if they want to add anybody.
So now I enlarge the screen. I'm gonna take it off for the time being.
So let me see.
So put it. So if you can amend it, I'm gonna remove it. If you can amend it.
Yeah. I can.
And then put it back. That'd be good, actually. And we can put it on the board.
Oh shit.
That would be good if we can amend it. I haven't seen in the chat though. I haven't seen where we are putting out the teams. Your teams actually. So what is your starting 11? Can those in the comments put your starting 11?
My starting 11. So this is 4-4-2. So you know that the coach likes 4-4-2 or 4-4-3. I mean 4-4-3-3. Sorry, 4-4-2 or 4-3.
I thought last game he was playing 4-2. I'm not sure what he was playing. He had two center forwards. He had two wingers. So was it a 4-2-4 or was it a 4-4-2? Probably more of a 4-4-2. But my wingers weren't really running back, so it must have been a 2-4-2-4.
Yeah, those wingers were guilty of not tracking back. So
big up J. Russ.
I believe that he won 4-4-2, but the wingers weren't cooperating with that formation. Let me see.
Yeah, if he plays, I would love to see what the teams are actually. It'd be interesting actually, given the players we have available, and given that we saw DJ for a very short period coming to the game, and now we have Russell and Lati.
All right. So
there.
Kronke, let's build this team. So we have Blake, right back. Who we going to put in the right back?
Put Lembakisa.
Hope I spell it right.
I think I view him as a starting right back.
All right.
Even though Wes Harding is in the provisional squad, I'm not sure he's going to make the Gold Cup squad. He may be your best option, but I'm not sure he's going to be.
All right. Who are we going to put right here? Center. Right here.
Right. So no one in the chat have a team? I haven't seen one team in the chat today that you're prognosticating or predicting that we're going to be having on the field on Saturday.
In the chat room, who do you want as the right center back? Read it out to me, Kronke, because I can't see the chat.
I am not seeing anything in the chat that suggests that anyone is suggesting a player in any position.
All right, so we just fill it out. I'll put pin up.
All right, so Ian has his how many of his players? Is that his 23?
Blake, Clark, Right.
So no, go back to Ian's
Yes.
players actually. Wait 1 second. Go
Blake.
back to the list that Ian had.
Well, okay, good. Pinnock.
So for Baneful is saying Blake, Bell, Pinnock, Lowe, Dexter, DJ, Bobby, Bailey, Antonio, Gray. Okay. That's not a bad. So guys, rate this team that Baneful has put up.
So hold on. Right midfield is who?
So he has DJ, I think, is left.
DJ is left.
Yeah.
Left midfield.
Yeah, I think he's missing a player though. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Joel, DJ.
No, he has them all there. He has Lati as the second right midfield. I'm not sure who's playing CDM then, because neither Lati to me.
Hold on, Kronke. Work with me. So left midfield is who?
Left is DJ and right is Lati Badir.
Lati Badir. I must put Lati. Got him name too long.
Lati works. And Bobby playing the 10. Gray left, Bailey right, and Antonio in the center. In the center forward slot.
Bobby and who else?
So where are you now? Where are you? You have the other defenders and the goalkeeper?
No, I'm you don't see the list?
Oh, I should just put it up? Okay.
Pull it up, man. You gotta pull it up. All right, wait.
So can you guys read? No, you're missing players. Okay, so fine. So DJ, Bobby, I think you should probably move Bobby. Move Bobby up. Move
Here?
DJ. Yeah, right. And then Lati will be there. Lati Badir will be on the right. It could be
Who is this right here?
Lati Badir. That's Lati Badir.
Oh, Lati's right here?
Yeah.
Okay, and who is over here?
That's gonna be Bailey, but you have to move him forward, I think.
All right, Bailey, wait.
So put DJ and Lati adjacent to each other. Move Bailey up. Then to the left, move the. It's one center forward. Move this one CF to be Gray and put him on the left.
One center forward?
So one of the center forward. You have two up there. So move one back. Move one down. Move. No. Go the other way. Go the other. Take the other one. Move it down to the left, right, and make that to be Gray. So move Bailey, Bobby, and Gray almost on the same line.
Slow down, brethren. So this is Gray.
Yes, that's Gray.
Damari Gray. All right. And this is Bobby.
That's Bobby and Bailey, right. And then up front you have Antonio. So let me see the ratings for this team, everyone. Those of you in the chat, let me see your
Wait, Kronke, wait. The formation don't look balanced, man. So what?
Let's talk about the formation. We're talking about the players first. We can get to the formation.
Oh, shit.
Give me Antonio as a center forward. Go on, give me Antonio as a center forward.
Antonio, Damari, Bobby, Bailey, DJ, Lati. That's a decent team.
So what grade do you give this team, those of you in the chat? What grade do you give this team?
I would give this a 9. I would give this a 9. You have the powerhouse up front.
Warren is saying 7.5. What grade would you give this team?
Let me see. So
you're all over the place now. Okay, you put the team back.
This is what happened.
I have no idea what happened.
This man, take over my computer, boss.
What happened? Is that Manny's man or is that what happened?
It's me.
Or did you press the wrong button?
Let me. Yeah, I'm trying to pull something else up.
So those of you in the chat, bear with us. Let's try to navigate this. We're like the JFF.
Right.
Let's think about us as the JFF. We can't get our act together.
Oh man, I lost the damn thing. You believe that? I don't believe it. Oh no.
So
Here it is.
I'll just voice over.
Here it is.
What we go ahead.
Here it is. I got it. I pulled it up. Yeah. See it?
No, okay. I think you got to exit that function. All right, that's better. No, let me put it up now.
Right.
Okay. So what we have here is, I think we're seeing the grades coming in, and they're good grades. We have Blake as a starting goalkeeper. We have Dexter. No. So Dexter, no, we have Dexter and Lamborghini are the same person. I think it's Bell to the left. Put Bell in the left back position. So what we have is Bell left back, Low on the right, Pinnock on the left. So switch those two around. Lamborghini in the right back position. In the midfield, we have DJ and Latibadir. On the left wing, we have Damari Gray. In the number 10 slot, we have Bobby Reed. We have Bailey outright. And then we have Antonio center forward. Let me see your grades for this team. I see the grades are coming in. We have El Granjero giving a 7.5, Real Baller 8.5. So if you don't think this is a starting team, I think it's as good as it gets, frankly. I thought this was more like a 10 out of 10, frankly.
Yeah, that's a very good team.
So who would you replace in this team? If you're giving a 7.5, that means, so we're not saying how well this team will do. We're saying, given the availability of players and the provisional squad we have and the 23 you're picking, what 11 would you pick to start?
Okay,
you need permission says a 10. Richard Green says 8.5. And again, I said before, Real Baller said 8.5. So you think, I'm not sure. Duckland says paper team that. So Duckland, because you're wait. I'll put up his comment. Duckland, you're Mr. Critic. So if you're gonna see a problem or a problem, you have to have a solution. What is your team, Duckland? I'm gonna call you out to no Duckland. I'll talk about it. I'll call you. Okay, if you have critique, then you have to have solution. So what team are you proposing? Because I'm not seeing no team from your Duckland. So if you say either team the man I'm gonna put up, then you have to be able to have a team which is reflective of what you think will start and will allow us to compete. So what is your team? Jay Russ is saying that we should have, 1 second. Where is Jay Russ's comment? Jay Russ is saying West Harding for Lambekiso. We haven't seen West Harding in a long time play for us, Jay Russ. And the question is, how much has the coach seen him, and would he fit in at this point in time? Not saying it's a bad shout, but if we think about West Harding involved in national, we're not even sure he's going to be the 23. I think Lambekize will be. I'm not sure he will be. But it's not a bad shout, actually. So Duckland says, so does anyone in the chat agree with Duckland? Bose is our best striker. He has to start. So he's basically saying if we're playing one center forward, Bose is starting in place of Antonio. Do we have consensus on Duckland's intuitive perspective, his wisdom, or don't we? We're seeing some comment response to, I won't call it all of them. I'm going to put it in my own terms. Someone is challenging Duckland's football acumen if he believes Boza should be a starter over Antonio's. I'm going to infer from what he's saying if that's the case. Duckland is, okay, so Duckland is saying not in spite of, in place of, let's start together. So what formation are you playing in, Duckland? If you play two center forward, that means either Gray's not playing, because I'm sure Bailey's going to start. Because I'm sure Bailey's going to start. I'm sure Bobby Reed will start. And I'm sure you need two midfielders. So let me see your team then, Duckland. Don't give me piecemeal and suggestion in certain position. Let me see your entire 11. I'd love to see your 11. So Jason's saying, Kronke, I think a lot of people still not here when the coach said he actually planned to take his 23 for Gold Cup to Austria. It's why we haven't seen other names in Austria from the 50-man roster. Yeah, but Jason, the person he took to Austria, half of them won't be the starting 11, at least not from where I sit. So if you plan to take the team, you take the team to the Gold Cup, that cannot be the case because there's no Pinnock, there is no Lowe who's injured. There is no Antonio. There is no Bailey. There is no Gray. DJ was late. What am I missing? Are we saying, I hope it's not the Astra team that we saw play Qatar, that's the starting 11, or a mixture of only players in Austria, because that wouldn't work. I'm not sure fans would buy into that. I don't think fans would buy into that. So Reggae Boys Central is saying Blake, Pinnock, Lowe, Bell, Latibadir, Russell, DJ, Bobby, Gray. Yeah, I think that's the same team we had, wasn't it? I think that's the same team, actually. But no, not Russell. We're saying, so Reggae Boy Central has Russell in his team. So who is he dropping out? He's dropping out Lembekisa.
Yeah, but Kronke, they have to give me a formation before they give me a team.
No. So here's what I'm going to assume from his team what he's basically saying, which is Latibadir plays right back for Lembekisa, and the rest is the same. So Latibadir plays both center, center back, right back, or midfield. So he's saying play him in Lambekisa's spot, someone that previously suggested West Harding, and have Russell play the CDM.
Boy, so formation.
All you have to do is change Lembekisa with Latibadir and put Russell in Lati's spot. And by the way, switch out Bailey and Lati, because Bailey's not going to play inside. Lati will play.
Hold on. Let me just. The formation have to change. Simple as that.
No. The formation remains the same. Put switch on Bailey and Lati. Then put.
Move
them. Yeah, change position. Right.
Okay.
Then take Lati and put him in Lambekisa's position.
Well,
take
right
Lambekisa off the screen and put Russell where Lati was. Yeah, so that's going to be Russell now. The one you're moving is going to be Russell. Yes.
All right.
So, Owen, so that's the team suggested by Reggae Boy Central. How do you guys rate this team?
So Russell,
did this team get a higher grade than the Baneful's previous team?
So basically, Kronke, this would be the formation. Because Russell is a defensive midfield.
Yes.
Right.
Well, you could play. No, we're missing something, aren't we? 4-4-8. We would have DJ. No, DJ would play beside Russell.
DJ beside Russell.
Well, that's interesting. If you have two center forwards, I'm not sure what we're playing.
DJ.
So you're saying we're gonna play a 4-1-3-2?
Yeah,
or 4-2.
This is how it would look.
Nah, that's an unbalanced formation.
Well, this is. But when you factor in the style,
you play Boza beside Antonio. Actually, you wouldn't play them.
Right, but
I'll play one. Frankly, if you play two center forward, one is playing behind the other, right?
Right.
That's maybe have Boza play behind Antonio or vice versa.
That's how the coach normally set up his team. One of the big center forwards support the other one. Okay, but given what the catchers are basically giving us, this is how it would actually set up. Because DJ and Russell basically play as defensive midfield.
Right.
Bobby's a winger. Bailey's a winger. So I don't like it. It's too much room.
Then you're
right
saying
there.
both Gray and Whisper Noise will be on the bench. Actually.
Right. It's too much room right here. Too much room.
No,
right
you probably plug.
If anything, DJ would have.
Boza or Antonio. No. Go back.
Go on.
Plug Boza or Antonio in that spot you're talking about.
Right here.
So the other center forward is playing like a 10 versus
right.
Playing
a lot of work.
to
Boza could do that. Or
we tried that last game with Burke, it didn't work.
Or you could have him right here and put him right behind him. As a pivot.
You could. I still think that's an unbalanced formation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the best formation, but you could do that. But it's not the most. It's not the most balanced formation. And frankly, as the game progresses, that formation things sometimes go out the window. It's all based on where people are on the field and how.
Let me ask you something. If Lowe is injured, who should start in place of Lowe?
Lati can go in place of Lowe.
No, Lati's here already.
I know, but you put Lembegisi right and put Lati in place of Lowe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you put Lati over here.
So the great Duckland has put his team up. So let's look at Duckland's team. Because he wasn't supposed. So Duckland has Blake, Peanut, Bell, Latty. He's putting Greg Lee in. So are you putting Bell at center back? Is that what you're doing? Or are you putting Bell at right back?
Well, Blake,
I'm not sure what way
Bell,
to play
Lee.
Both Greg Lee and Bell are both left footers, so I'm not sure who's putting it right. He then has Phillips, who came on in the last game and had an okay game.
Where would he put
Russell, Bobby, Boza, Antonio, Whisper.
Russell, Phillips. Phillips would have to be right here. Boza, Antonio, Whisper.
So he has no Lati, no Limbakisa, no Gray. Interesting.
I mean, let me just play with this thing for a minute. Let me just move it. 3-4-3. See what we get. Nah.
I haven't seen the coach play a 3-4-3. I know there's some suggestion in the chat. I see Be a Blessing mentioning that. I haven't seen the coach play a 3-4-3.
I've never seen that either.
No, I haven't seen him play a 3-4-3.
Let me see.
I think he likes 4 at the back, actually.
Yeah, 4-1-4-1.
I think people are doing formation to get certain players in the team.
4-1-4-1 look like his formation doing. You know, with this over here and that over here. And this still not right.
I think when we played the last game, he had both Russell and Labadere in the midfield, even though Labadere plays box to box. He had Burke playing adjacent to or just behind Nicholson. And then he had on one wing, he had Paris on one, then he had Whisper and the 4 defenders. So, but Russell was playing beside Lati. I'm always missing Labadere name. That was playing beside Lati, actually.
That would be it. I mean, it's similar. You know, 4-4-2, 4-1-4. I mean, it just depends on the flexibility of the players to move around. You know, I mean, it's flexible. You know, it's not set in stone. And you know what? Listening to his press conference, he also said that, you know, when someone asked him, you know, what's your formation or something like that, he said, listen, you know, I don't really practice formation because it's adjustable. You know, we practice different formations. So, you know, it is flexible.
Who are the two? Sorry, Kyle. Who are the 2 bells that Fresh God has up? Or do you mean someone else? He has Bell and Bell. I think he meant someone else. But the team he has is very similar to what's been out there, except he has Russ in the team. So he has no Lati and no Limbakisa. People seem to be a little bit down on Limbakisa. You guys in the chat tell me if I'm observing something that's not reflective of reality, which is Limbakisa played against Mexico, had a blinder, I think. For the half he played. He played in Jamaica. Then he played against Trinidad and played well, but the game he played against Qatar, he was okay. So are people down on Lambakisa now? Are we saying that he should be starting right back? What is the view now? Because it seems like we have changed our perception of this player who at one point couldn't do anything wrong, especially when he played against Mexico. And now we're having second thoughts about whether or not he should be a starter or even being in the starting 11.
Based on what? You know, why have people perception change?
I think there's a view that he was so against Qatar.
Everybody was so against Qatar. So, you know what I mean? Come on, man.
Even though I will say this, though. I did rewatch some highlights. So Formula Sport did a good job. Big up to Formula. Of putting together, or someone put together for him,
I saw that.
Isolation on players, right? And their performance. And Lati did better than I thought he did, actually. Limbakisi, I don't think I've seen one for Limbakisi. Either he was in some of the plays, but he had one on Lati, he had one on Whisper. I thought they both did okay. I thought Lati was running all game. He seemed very fit, actually. I didn't think he was as decisive or deceptive as I like him to be. But I thought he was present. I think he was, if you think about his involvement in plays, it was about 7.5 minutes. Whisper was less than that, which is a decent amount for a 90-minute game.
Paris also had a good game. I just changed him out. I just changed out Latia and put in Paris right here. Paris had a good game.
Change out Lati for Paris.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna put Paris in midfield.
yeah, he was all over the midfield.
Isn't that part of the problem?
No man, he brought industry when he came on, and he was distributing the ball a lot. You know, and
I thought both him and Phillips showed energy. I thought Phillips was challenged to just controlling the ball. So he was there. He was ever present. He was in the play, but his control, which at this level shouldn't need work, his control needed some work. And also, how quickly he made his decision also needed some work. But I thought he was busy.
Yeah, he was.
I thought he was busy.
I'm just plugging these guys in as super subs. So my super sub will be Paris first. You know. Who will you bring on as your other super sub? Definitely have to bring on.
Well, Gray's not in the team. Whisper's not there. Gray's not there. Burke is not there. If we think about the players we've seen previously.
For Boza, I'm bringing in, Whisper for Boza. 65 minute, 70th minute. You know, make him liven it up. You know.
I think Whisper is going to get much more game time than people think, actually.
I believe he's going to have a standout tournament.
Then the coach played him almost the entire game against Trinidad. Did he play out the entire game? Yes, against Qatar. He has a lot of time for that player. He's giving a lot of game time.
Yeah,
he's giving a lot of game time.
Yeah, I like it.
So there's different views on Paris, by the way. Some people are saying he was out of position.
He should play him. Where am I going to put him here? Come on, the man have to be here for connect with everybody right here.
But he's not a midfielder. He's a winger. He's not a midfielder. He can't be in the midfield. Then we have one midfielder and 6 forwards and 4 defenders.
To me, Paris looked like a midfielder. In that game, I don't know. It looked like a midfielder.
Maybe he was ball chasing, but I don't think he's
know.
He's not a midfielder.
He was all over the place. All right.
So how do you think? So let's go to the team. Let's see. Whisper Paris, baby. I think we should replace Paris with Lati. No, Russell's not the right back. Russell's not right. Put Russell where you have in the midfield beside DJ, and put Limbakisa on the right back. And let's think about how
put Russell here
against the US. Put Russell there, and put Limbakisa in Russell's slot in the right back position.
Put Limbakisa.
Yeah, on the right back.
Okay. Hold on. Wait, man. I got confused. So keep.
You have Limbakisa in the center back right now. I think it's going to be Pinnock and Lowe, Franklin at center back.
But I got confused. Okay, I got it.
So is either Pinnock and Lowe or Pinnock and Lati playing center back?
Limbakisa.
I can't see another players there.
I don't know, man. Russell, to me, I wouldn't put him in defense. Defensive midfielder. I would not put him in defense.
Who would you put in defense?
I said I would not put Russell in defense.
No. I think Lati goes in defense, not Russell.
Oh.
Yeah, Lati plays center back, and he also plays right back, and he also plays midfield.
I was watching an interview with him, Lativar, and he says he plays any position, but he started out as a midfielder. But his new coach wants him to play as a defender. So this guy is multifaceted. He's a versatile player, which means he can slot into center back, midfield, or right back. Yeah, which is good. Probably attacking midfield also. Yeah. He was doing good.
We seem to struggle with the CDM's position actually. Forever. At some point, we have to get somebody who's really, really good to lock down that position. And if I was a player trying to get to the national team, I would think about, does my game adapt to that position and try to get in? Because It's hard to get in on the wings. It's hard to get in the center forward slot. It's hard to get in on either right or left back. That's the one position. Even if you're a forward and you think you have certain capability, maybe you can work in the CDM. If you want to get into the team and and you can show the coach in practice you belong there, you should try to get in there. Yeah. And coaches nowadays have been more versatile in their thinking about what players can fit in what position, right? It's like Iwobi who play forward now playing midfield or Joey Linton. So people are sometimes pigeonholed the positions. I think coaches have to be, if they want to have the best team on the field, they may have to convert certain players into certain roles.
But that's where football is going now. I mean, every player has to be able to play two positions. You know,
I think we're going back to the Dutch total football in the 70s, which is interesting.
Well, that's where the ball game.
Our history repeats itself.
Liverpool, my team, you know, anybody can play at least two positions. So
you mean play in the Europa League or in the?
Yes.
What league you playing in now? I'm just.
Listen, man. Last.
You go to Liverpool reference. You know teams that we're talking about playing the Champions League. We're not going into.
You know what?
We going to Europa or those.
We just give you guys a break, you know. You know what I mean?
No, you took a break. You didn't give us a break. You took a break.
And
you may not get back those slots you gave up, by the way.
Oh,
we're talking Jamaica football. We're not going to the PL or Champions. We're talking Jamaica football. But
all right, so let's leave that alone then.
No, but this is a decent look. I do believe though, from what I've seen, that Whisper deserve to get major game time. Actually, the kid seems pretty comfortable when he's on the field, and that's all. He doesn't seem intimidated or have any fear. You want fearless young players, and my philosophy: if they're good enough, they're old enough. That's my view.
So, Bobby, if anything, I'm just playing with it. All right.
Do you think there'll be any surprises in the 23? Do you think the 50-man provisional squad? Do you think there's gonna be any surprises?
No.
Same repeaters.
The surprise has already been sprung already. There's no Morrison, so you know how much more surprise can you get?
So I think Morrison came up in the press conference. We should mention that actually.
Right.
A question was asked about Ravel, and the coach basically says, I'm going to summarize by saying that he has had extensive conversation with Ravel subsequent to the Trinidad game. Obviously, he's in his thoughts still, but he has to find a team and be playing to be considered. That's what I get from the coach.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't have a team and he's not playing, that's why he's not in the squad. He sort of inferred that, or indicated, not inferred, that he rates Morrison as a good player, but he needs to be playing regular football to be considered.
So the other question would be: is there any other player on the squad that isn't playing regular football?
Not that I can think of actually. Apart from maybe Whisper.
Whisper, right?
Whisper may be the only player not playing regular football.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whisper may be the only player, but yeah.
So
one could say maybe somewhat of a double standard, but I think Whisper's situation is more understandable. Ravel's situation, he doesn't have a team because for whatever reason. I think Whisper as a junior probably have more of a reason because he's part of the Chelsea makeup and will migrate there eventually. But right now, maybe just be practicing or training back in Jamaica.
Or maybe him just want to bring him, you know. Whisper is his little project. So, you know.
No, I think coaches sometimes see players and they can see the raw potential and they believe they can convert that potential into something that is going to help the team. And I think that's probably what he's doing. And frankly, Whisper hasn't disappointed, right?
No,
he should have had an assist on a goal when we played against Qatar, so he hasn't really disappointed.
Whisper's been doing very well. It bodes well for us.
So, we got the wrong thing. So, that's really saying, no, Ravel made the argument about the need to find a team first. I don't think that was Ravel, actually. Maybe it was a mutual decision. I don't know, but I think the coach has indicated that it was agreed that he needs to have a team before he can be considered.
So
yeah. So I don't.
You know, if there's any other surprise that might come up is Mariappa might get dropped. Because to be honest, at his age,
That's a great point you're making, because think about it. No one put Mariappa in the starting 11.
right.
So everyone in the chat, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, do you think Mariappa should be in the 23? And do you see him being a starter if he's in the 23?
Because I'm trying to look at the relevance for having him there, and the only thing that I can come up with is, you know, he has been around a while. You know, he's a vibes man. You know, he's a motivator, but his game is lacking.
So should he be the assistant coach versus being a starter?
That's what
I
believe.
A key member of the team.
I believe he should bring him on the coaching team. You know, because
I think he's doing his pro license, isn't he?
Right. You know, I believe he should bring him in, give him certain knowledge, and use him.
Sure improvement say we need to improve in that department. So we say we want to move on and call up the same old names.
Right.
But look, I think some players give the team stability. They're a great comfort to a coach. They act as almost like a semi-manager or semi-coach in terms of how they engage with the players, given their maturity, seniority, experience.
Yeah.
And they also can be that bridge between players from different locales.
Yeah.
So he may play that role, but I don't see him being a starter. I think he'll be in the 23, actually. I don't think he's seen him being a starter.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Which to me is, troublesome. You know, why would you bring him in, put just give him a slot? He's not really going to start when somebody else could basically get it. You know, bring him on the coaching staff and let him be that intermediary between the boys and the management team. Yeah, that's so I.
So Alonda Brown, if you know the 23, let us hear it, because I don't know the 23. He said he knows the 23. Was the 23 announced, or are you speculating or prognosticating, predicting what that 23 is going to be? Because I don't know what it is. You're saying you know the 23. What was your source? Because on the conference call today, they seem to suggest that's going to be announced subsequent to the Jordan game. So what's your source for your 23?
No, he didn't he say after the game?
Yeah, so I'm saying, what's Orlando Brown's source? Because he's saying we already know the 23. Oh. He used the word we, which means all of us.
Speculating.
Or is we meaning I already know the 23, Orlando?
Change your mind.
Okay, say speculating. Okay.
Speculate. Okay. All right. That's all right.
I don't know the 23, and I think this coach is going to spring a few surprises after him. And who knows? Because sometimes people say they're available and they're not available. So you never know. Availability determines the 23 in a lot of instances. The way we operate as a nation, actually. Our national team, it's hard to predict the 23 or the 11 because we don't know the totality of the availability of the players who will be available for any given tournament.
Here, R.E. Alabala, Kyle, why do you against Mariappa, bro? I have nothing against Mariappa. The man has done invaluable service for the team. I just believe that, if he's not going to be starting, that he can be used in a different capacity. That's all I believe.
So I'll ask Real Ball of this. Here's my question for you, which is, if Lowe is available and Pinnock is available and Latty is available, would you start Maps over any of those three, actually? Given that we've been informed that Latty Badir can play the center back well. And he's actually much more mobile, and he showed that by playing box-to-box in the Qatar game. And he's also indicated that his coach want to play in the defense. So would you play Mops instead of any of those three if they're all available?
Here, Stenit. Stenit says, you are fight against the elderly. Oh, shit. Boy, these guys are good.
We're fighting against the elderly. What does that mean?
Mariappa.
No, but I'm just... We're not fighting against. There's no fight. We're giving our views as to who we think best fits the team.
But
Give the upcoming games.
Question for the guys in the chat room. Who would Mariappa start over? Put it in there. Tell us.
We're saying if Lowe is available, Pinnock is available, Latty is available, would Maps start?
Not a starter, but Maps can sub in at right back. Sub in at right back.
I think you better sub in at center back because it's hard to turn when you're getting on in age when you're right back. And we saw Maps against, was it Honduras, one of those teams?
Yeah.
I think Maps is getting left behind. Takes a lot of speed to play out wide. And it's very challenging to be able to pivot out there and turn. And I'm not going to say Maps is like the Titanic, but he's not turning like he used to turn when he was playing in the EPL, either Watford or Leicester. He's not turning like he used to. He used to be a good right back, but I think those days are behind him.
So what's his name? Drew Ross, aka Drew Fortis, says Maps will not start, but he will be a solid choice as a sub. Okay, so Drew, who would you sub him for? Drew Fortis, who would you sub Maps for? 70th minute, clock is winding down, somebody looks tired. Who would you sub him for?
I'm not saying he can't give 25 minutes. He gave what? Didn't he play most of the game against Qatar? So obviously he can be out there. But I don't think you guys realize in the game sometimes that there are deficiencies in Maps' game which are not apparent sometimes. If you watch the game closely, you can see.
It's apparent now, Kronke. The guy is slow. The guy can be beaten on any wing. You can't put him on the left. You can't put him on the right. And you can't leave him in the center midfield. The center defense without protection. He's a liability. So, come on.
So Kyle, this is yours, not mine.
I'm asking the question and nobody can answer me. Who would you sub him for? It's 70th minute. We are leading 2-1. Somebody look tired. I won't tell you who in the defense, and you need to sub Maps. Who would you sub him for?
I think someone is saying here it can be sub for Lowe or somebody.
Where? What you said?
I saw it previously. I have to put it up.
Could be an extra defender. Hear this stuff. Man, I get ridiculous. Truth is, Maps starting to give Hopper vibes now. Okay, all right. Super improvement. We are in the period where inexperience needs game time to experience.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far and say a Maps.
Okay, Low.
Haka comparison is fair.
Somebody said Low. Sub him for Dexter. Okay, right here is Dexter. Low.
I think Maps give us more than Haka could have. Look, Haka had retired, probably wasn't playing at the level that he needed to. So when he came back in the team, it wasn't fair to him actually. Even though I thought he did a decent job, but it wasn't fair because it's hard to be mobile when you are in advanced age.
Let me be fair to Maps. If he comes on as a sub, he needs protection, no matter where he's going to be subbed onto.
Now, someone mentioned Bernard. Who did mention actually? I thought Bernard was decent in the Qatar game. I hope he gets more game time tomorrow across the team as a defender, frankly. Because my understanding he's a very good player. So I haven't seen enough of him. He did come on in the game. He did do okay. So be curious to see if he gets more game time against Jordan and how he looks.
All right.
But Bernard should be also an alternative in case we just sub someone in.
That's what I'm saying. We have too many better subs than Maps to be put in that position. Anyway, so let's start with the forward now. Antonio, 70th minute, tired legs. We need to sub Antonio. Who would you sub for Antonio?
Well, that has to be Nicholson, isn't it? Antonio and Nicholson are interchangeable, aren't they?
Okay, Nicholson. So we'll put
So if you're gonna sub that, that's Nicholson, yeah.
Nicholson. Okay, then anybody else in the chat room agree with Kronke? Okay, there you go. Bo's a fresh guard.
So Ricardo is asking Kronke and Carl, what's your views on Russell? So I'll let Carl go and I'll
me. Wow. That's so gentleman of you, but Russell, I don't know, to be honest. Russell, I don't know, Kronke. I don't know.
I thought Russell's cameo against Mexico was excellent. I thought he was only okay against Qatar. I didn't see how well he covered the pitch. I mean, I want my CDM to be really mobile, going from side to side or moving the ball upfield, taking the ball off the defenders and spreading around. So I think he did okay. He didn't have the legs that Lati had or the mobility that Lati had, even though they're playing different positions. But I thought he did okay, but he wasn't exceptional. I didn't think he was exceptional.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say that he was average, and compounding on the lack of pressing in the whole team. I wasn't too comfortable with that, to be honest, with his performance. He wasn't shutting them down like I thought he would. Put it
so
like
Fresh God says, wait 1 second, let me put a Fresh God and I come back to this. Fresh God said, what if the Qatar game was his bad game in the lot? Well, Fresh God, we only get judged. We are harsh, Fresh God. We judge you on your last performance, from the last ball you kicked. So we given Lembekizi a hard time for the Qatar game because he was getting a lot of praise prior to that. And we didn't see enough of Russ in the Mexico game. He looked good, but in this game he had a lot of time and he was substituted, but he was not standing. So yes, we can give leeway for games. It's been a long season. And we'll see if he get game time in a Jordan game and see how he does.
Kronke, what's his name? Someone said whisper for sub for Antonio. So
do we prefer whisper out wide or in the middle of the park? Right? I think it's going to be Nicholson for Antonio if Nicholson doesn't start. I can't see the coach going a different route. I think whisper will either be a 10 or one of the wingers. So he'll come in for Bobby Reed or Bailey or whether it's Gray or somebody that's playing out wide, or he may start out wide.
All right.
Instead of Gray. If Gray doesn't make the trip.
All right. Let's move on to Bailey. 8th minute, tired legs. We have to sub Bailey. Who are we going to sub in for Bailey? Chat room.
Your options are probably Paris or Whisper or something like that. Here's my hope, actually, and not digressing from what you're saying about Bailey, but I hope Bailey has a very good tournament. That's all I'll say on Bailey. I hope he has a good tournament. He's yet to have a defining moment or period of sustained, excellent performance of the national team, and I think that needs to change. Actually.
Kronke, you and I are on the same page with that. And my whole defense of Bailey is people need to stop putting pressure on him. It's like people putting this pressure on him like he is our Messi and he's going to carry us to the glory land. Football is a team sport. And sometimes I think what happened to Bailey, I don't know. I think he's reading his own press clippings and he believed that he has to carry this team. I think his game would be more served if he plays within the team construct. Because from what I've seen is he's trying to be too individualistic and it hurts his game, it hurts the team. So I am with that, to be honest.
Well, my hope is that if you're playing with better players, you'll play better, right? That's the hope. You're playing with better players. They can find you with more precise passes. Their movements are different. When they get opportunities, they put it in the net. Then hopefully you'll play better. But I think you're right. It appears he does try to do too much. And what he's trying is not coming off. I watched him really close when I was in Orlando 2 years ago. Granted, it's been 2 years ago. And I was probably the only person in the stadium said they should replace him. And I'm actually serious about that, actually. Most people still said, yes, he's not playing well, but he should still play.
I said
He
that.
should stay on the field. Even though, because look, he's a local hero, right?
Yeah.
He's the one local developed player, even though one could question whether he was local developed or not, given that he went to Europe pretty early. But he's the one player who's come through the program, come from local, who has done really, really well outside of Jamaica. Not that like Nicholson haven't done well, but he's been the poster boy for that. And so there are expectations there, and people want to give him as much opportunity as possible to be successful. But today, if you were to judge his performance for Jamaica, out of 10, from where I sit, it would be more than a 5. And even that may be generous, which can be good for someone who's a poster boy for the team, and it's supposed to be the one carrying the team. It hasn't gone as well.
But you see, I wouldn't blame the media though. I really wouldn't blame Bailey, because contrast that with how they deal with Whisper. We expect a lot from Whisper, but nobody expects him to carry this team. They're basically tempering us and say, listen, give him time, give him time, give him time. If the media had taken that same approach with Bailey, believe me, I believe we would see a better Bailey right now. But from the start, they've been putting this pressure on this boy's head. You know what I mean? And it basically feed into him now to the point where his game suffered. So, we're on the same page. Let's just hope that this would be the tournament where everything just levels out and the media does work with him.
Yeah, Declan is saying, Declan, I assume that's your grade for Bailey today in his performance in the national team. Yeah, I think he needs to up his game. And here's the thing. He's going to have more competition now, right?
Competition is healthy.
If you were to look at Whisper's profile, this is a bad comparison, I would think, not fair comparison, but even Whisper's cameos to date, and cameo to me means you haven't played 10 games for the national team, and Bailey's performance, you can't say Bailey has done better than Whisper. Just based on the brief cameos you've done today. And frankly, if you're bringing Gray and you have Whisper there and Bailey's not producing, you have to make some tough decisions. My hope we don't get to that point. My hope is that Bailey's exceptional, scores goals, set up goal, run back on defense, plays well, make good decisions. But we have to get to the point where if Antonio's not playing well, if Bailey's not playing well, if Pinnock is not playing well, we have ample replacements. Yep. When we get to that point, people will feel the pressure and realize that they have to have consistent performance, else they will not start. And I think a year from now we'll be there. If I'm projecting out correctly, my assumptions are right, I believe that a year from now, when the coach gets his recruiting down, he's engaged all the players he wants, a number of them have committed, and he looks across his team and says, you know what, I have 2 people for every slot. Then people are fighting for positions. I think that level of complacency in the team with some players, at least the way I view it, that will change. They will no longer be guaranteed a starting slot. We'll have to change.
All right. So let's move on now. Paris. 70th minute, tired legs. We're up 2-1 against the USA. Who do we sub him for?
Well, he's gonna be the sub coming in. He's not starting.
So okay then. So who is starting for Paris?
I think that's Bobby Reed.
Bobby Reed. All right. So put Bobby Reed. So Paris will come in for him. So let me hear what anybody in the chat room have any different thoughts? Everybody's stuck on Bailey. All right. So the left midfield. So who was this on the left midfield then?
We had this as Gray or Whisper. Gray? Is it a Gray or Whisper out there? Or Paris? It could be any of them.
The Mari Gray then. He's on the left. 70th minute again. Tired legs. You know, we're up 2-1 against the USA. Who would we bring in?
It's either Whisper or Paris coming for Greg.
Whisper Paris. All right. Okay, so our midfield look kind of covered then. The subs look good, look decent. Boy, I tell you something, you know, you can't say nothing about Bailey. Nothing. If you say anything about Bailey, man, the man them want to kill you.
What do you mean?
I'm reading the comments. It's like,
Kronke way too harsh. Bailey scored goals, Whisper not yet. So we have a very small sample size for Whisper. So he's played what, 2 or 3 games or 2.5 games, and we have a lot of sample size for Bailey. So if Bailey played 15 games for Jamaica, has he played well in 30% of those games? Whisper to me hasn't had a bad game yet. The one game against Trinidad, he was so-so, but wasn't poor. I can name you half the game Jamaica played Bailey was poor in. If that's harsh, then it's harsh. Half the game he was poor in, another 40% he was so-so in, maybe 5% neutral, and 5% he was good in. That's what I've seen today. Any good game in the Gold Cup, now one can say he was injured, fine. In the World Cup qualifiers, he was okay. So when people say we are harsh with a player, here's what I don't like. We're biased, right? So the players we like and they get critiqued, supposed critique, this wasn't criticism, this was facts. Then we have a problem with it. If I mention some other player who is not part of your environment, is not somebody that you care for or you're agnostic about, then you don't really care, right? So if we mention Bailey in any shape or form, then you can hear that you're harsh, you're a bad mind, you're this. When we actually appraise players independently, objectively, based on how they're doing. So if he's scoring goals, making good decisions, passing the ball well, defense, I'm the first to say he's doing great. But I haven't had a lot to cheer about where he's concerned. I want the kid to do well. He's the poster boy for Jamaica's football. He is. But the status the status being elevated to, and the status he holds doesn't reflect his performance. And that's not debatable. It's not debatable.
All right, so let's go to the defensive midfield. So 70th minute, DJ is down injured, and we need a replacement. Who do we put in there?
For who?
DJ.
We don't have a lot of choice. We don't have a lot of choices.
That's what I was.
So when I say Phillips go in, I think Phillips played the last game. Looked like he was playing more wing to me. People say it was midfield, but he was playing out wide. I'm trying to think who else is in the team to come in.
Go on.
You can put in Lambert, I think, but
I wouldn't.
I'm not. You can put in Lambert. I'll just leave it there.
Lambert, wait. There's another guy. I put Lambert in for now, but there's another one. I forgot his name.
I don't think Speedy wasn't in. Speedy wasn't in.
Yeah,
in Austria.
I would put Speedy's not there.
I don't think he was in Austria. I don't remember seeing him or seeing his name.
You sure?
But if you don't have, but he's in the 50-man provisional squad.
I would put in Speedy.
I think Speedy can do a job.
I would put Speedy.
Or if my favorite player was available.
Who's that?
Who's the favorite CDM we have who's been ostracized? I let people guess that name. Who's the famous CDM we have who's been ostracized? Well, defender / CDM nowadays. Who had a conflict with one of the players and hasn't returned since.
Defender / CDM coming up here, I haven't seen since. Who the hell was that?
Hector.
Oh no, come on, man. I won't even call his name.
Actually,
killing me.
But the last Gold Cup I watched, Hector was better than Bailey by a good distance.
Is he in the 50-man squad?
Yeah, he is. But I'm not sure he's gonna make the 23.
Well,
Hector, to me, Hector was better in the Gold Cup than Bailey. Hector wasn't treated fairly in the Gold Cup. I watched the games closely, and Speedy and Hector played decent. Hector was removed too early sometime, wasn't given the time, didn't make a lot of mistakes, was spraying passes. And I was Hector's harshest critic prior to the Gold Cup. But I thought Hector did well. We haven't seen him since, by the way.
Hector Wright. I don't know. Who? Hector.
Not
who?
Hector Wright, actually. Hector Wright was in '98.
Hector
I
who?
think we're talking about Hector Wright.
Hold on.
But no, Hector has
I got brain frog right now. Kronke. Hector who?
Hector the tall.
Michael Hector.
Michael Hector.
Yeah. Michael Hector. Yeah, but no, seriously. Michael Hector to me was a decent a decent defensive midfielder.
So
slash defender. You know what I mean?
So a fan of mine that is saying that Bailey played with an injured toe in that Gold Cup. Okay.
Come off of the Bailey thing now, man.
No, I'm just put up this. The comments are coming through. I'm putting them up as they come through.
Because I tell you, them money will live on it.
All right, we're gonna move on. As Kyle said, we should move around the Bailey. But if you say he was injured and that's the excuse for his performances, then fine.
Right.
Hopefully he's fit for the Gold Cup coming up and he plays well.
All right. So Russell now. Russell is down. He's injured, or he needs to be subbed. He's tired.
We're still using Hector.
Hector again.
We're using Michael Hector in both positions.
Ah man, you use Hector. I will rather Speedy.
Okay.
I like Speedy, to be honest. I
like Hector. We struggle on set pieces, by the way. We struggle mightily on set pieces. Set pieces kill us, especially when we play the better team. So
I think Hector brings more to defense than Speedy brings more to defense than Hector. You know, and he's able to go up. No.
Speedy brings nothing to defense.
No, boy, you know.
Speedy may run around a lot. He's not a very good. I'm a big Speedy proponent, has been, but Speedy tries on defense. If you look at the stats after a game, Speedy doesn't make a tackle. He doesn't win too many balls, and he's in the CDM position.
Yeah,
he's busy. He makes the play. He makes the simple plays, but he's not the best defender.
All right, let's just agree to disagree on that one.
Devon saying Michael Hector has been our best player at the CDM, even though it's not his preferred position. No, I think Hector should be given an opportunity to play at CDM because we struggle in that position mightily. Everyone we've tried there have not necessarily done the best job.
Either one of them I am comfortable with. I'm not pro or for. To me, I can work with any one of them. All right, let's see what these guys saying. You're mad, demo, Speedy, defend what, Kyle? Okay, that's fresh God. Dukan said Speedy for CDM. Fanamaya said Speedy just run around. That's you, Kronke. Devon Porter said no, Kyle. Porter said Speedy can't defend. Oh God. All right. So let's move to the defense now. Left back. Amari Bell.
We're stacked at left back actually. We have Greg Lee and Amari Bell. So left back is not an issue.
Left back.
We have covered there. If Greg Lee makes it 23, we're fine at left back.
Okay. Left center back.
We have Pinnock. I don't see a natural left center back. Obviously, a right footer can play there. We still have King.
Kronke, hold on. You have Latti and Pinnock starting. So Latti down injured. Center back. Who are you going to sub?
If Latti's injured, gotta bring in King, I guess. If Lowe is not available.
Bring in who? King?
Yeah. If Lowe is not available.
I don't think Lowe. Well, Lowe might make it. I don't know. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. But
if Lowe makes, I think Lowe and Pinnock will start.
Right. That's what I'm thinking also. So
Owen is also mentioning that
right,
Bernard should be there.
Let's do this then. Let's put Lowe. Let's say Lowe's fit, he's starting. So let's say Lowe is injured. Oh no, let's leave injured out. I don't want jinx the man. Let's say that the coach wants to sub Lowe because we have tired legs. 89 minutes. No, well, 80th minute, we are up 2-1. So who we going to put in? You said who again?
So we have King. King would have to be the replacement.
King or okay, King. All right. Or even Lee, right? Left back.
I don't know about. I think Amari Bell can play there. I'm not sure Greg Lee.
Amari Bell too. Let's see.
And they put Greg Lee outside. I like Greg Lee actually. Okay, I even like Greg Lee that I've seen more than Bell.
Bernard.
I think Greg Lee's play for the national team has been exceptional when I've seen him.
He is. He. I believe that our defense is one of our brightest spark. It is deep, you know. But anyway, Bernard. Duncan said Bernard. Owen said Bernard.
Bernard is better than King, right?
That's everybody I read to Bernard. Who said Bernard? Okay.
So you put Bernard to replace King actually.
Bernard is better than King, so let's stick in Bernard then. All right, defense is one of our bright spots. Okay, now Pinnock. Again, gentlemen, Pinnock is down. Ladies and gentlemen, because the women are in this too. Down, we're up 2-1.
Someone is saying that King is a right center back, but guys got to realize last game we played with 2 right center backs because Mops is a right center back and so is King. So a right center back or a left center back can play on either side.
Right.
It may be preferred if you're playing in a position where your dominant foot is where you're playing, so a right footer played right center back. But nowadays you do see that sometimes. Mops played the left center back position even though he's a right footer.
All right, so let's move to Pinnock. Pinnock is tired. 80th minute, the coach needs to sub somebody. We're up 2-1. Who is it going to be, chat room?
You can put Lati there.
Lati.
Yeah,
Lati, all right.
You can put Lati there.
All right. Who else? Let's see what the chat room says. Java. What am I doing here? Chat room. Answer the call. We're down. 80th minute. We're up 2-1. We need a sub for Pinnock. Who are you going to sub? What Porter said? Are we talking left back or center back?
We're talking center back, Devon. So both we have Bernard and Lati at center back because
right.
Kyle's projection is that if we have to substitute Pinnock or Lowe, who we bring in?
Maps. Ballas and Maps.
Yeah, Maps will be there, so you can bring in Maps on either side actually.
Right.
Maps play with Lowe, Maps play with King, so Maps can actually play the left center back.
Maria,
right if need be. He can play either side.
Man said Pinnock has enough strength to be making babies in 90 minutes. Boy, well.
That was 9 months ago, but anyway.
Gonna say Speedy or Hector. No, who is that? Fan of Minor. What is he saying? I don't know. Well, Mariappa have a lot of fans, man. It seems as if people have faith in him.
No, I'm fan. I changed the whole preview Jordan game, actually. I changed the topic and talk more about the Gold Cup because I don't know what to expect for the Jordan game, frankly. I'm not sure I even care about the Jordan game. It's not the best preparation for the Gold Cup game. Half the players are not there. Not sure what we're learning from this, except giving players game time, get their fitness up, and allow the team to be together. I don't see I think when you go into these games and you really have a tough opponent, you should have your best team playing together for at least one half to clearly go over some of the things you want to get done during the game. Strategy you want to employ, system you want to employ, how they marry to the system. So I'm not sure the benefit of a Jordan game, apart from getting people game time. It may be good for people like Whisper, actually, because we can see more of him. But if half your team is missing, how is that optimum preparation for the Jordan game? So I had moved away from the Jordan game, talk more about the press conference and the Gold Cup and what we expect for the Gold Cup and what team we think we should deploy. But didn't talk about match preview because I'm not sure it matters. We can do post match. Management can have someone do post match tomorrow, but I don't think there was much to talk about for the Jordan game. So sometimes we deviate from the title, which we have done today. So True Cross said, contrary to what you say, Kronke, I'm gonna put my own views on this. The Jordan game is very important. The coach needs to win and get the monkey off his back. The coach at the press conference, he wasn't worried about winning, even though I don't think he's being totally forthright. I think every coach wants to win every game, frankly. They may want to try some things and try their tactics and methods and strategy in the game, but they want to win. But yeah, I mean, Jordan only lost 3-2 to Serbia. Not sure what Serbia team they played. I don't know what their ranking entails, but we shouldn't have a meltdown if we don't win the game. That's all I'll say. And I think some people will have a meltdown. But we should have a meltdown. King Amir is saying we had no style of play in the Qatar game, which leads me to be worried about United States because clearly Jamaican guys aren't fit. I don't think it was a fitness issue, actually.
Yeah,
I actually thought they ran a lot during the game. They were even pressing. I think it was more application than fitness. By the way, we are at 6:52. We're going to run this for another 8 minutes unless Kyle want to continue.
No. Sounds good to me.
Because we're going over 2 hours already.
Yeah, we got one.
I've exhausted my exhausted my time.
We got one more.
I lost this long. I have no idea how management does 4 hours, by the way.
I don't know. We got 2 more subs. Right back, Lambakisa, 8 minute. And we need to sub him. Who do we sub him for? Anybody in the chat room?
You can put out there, Lati can go out there, Mariappa can go out there, Jabane Brown can go out there if he makes the squad. So.
Right. So we have depth in that department, and the same thing with the goalkeeper. Well, the goalkeeper.
See, that's the reason why you need to have the 23 players known. You do these predictions, and then we haven't talked about Lawrence. We haven't talked about Jabane Brown. There's a bunch of players we haven't thought about who may make the 23, given history. Right. So you need the team so we can then be realistic about who should play where.
Right. And
Devon is saying Jordan have a good team. I watch them play. Well, if they lose 3-2 to Serbia, that means they can put the ball in the goal. And regardless of what team Serbia plays, they're a good team. So, and something your ranking doesn't reflect your ability, right?
Let's top it up with the goalkeeper now. Blake is down injured, and we have to substitute somebody.
You're gonna put Wait in. I want to see if he plays the kid tomorrow. But Wait played the entire first game, right?
You did. Oh boy, that's
Wait,
the guy.
Wait played the first game. I thought he was okay. Look, the goal at the near post was a difficult shot to save. I know people are saying you shouldn't give a goal at the near post, but it was in the roof. It was hit with pace, and it was hit very close range. So I'm not going to blame him for that. And the second goal, he didn't have a chance to save it. Boyce Clark is in the squad, but the question is, will he get any game time?
I believe Boyce Clark should get game time.
I think Boyce Clark is exceptional with his feet. I don't know about his shot stopping ability, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, we need to assess Boyce Clark because the last time we saw Boyce Clark was the under 20 game.
Yes, we saw him. He played all the games actually. He's very good with his feet. I think he has some attributes which keeper could really, which our keeper and even the US keeper could use actually. He's very good with his feet.
Right. I would love to see Boyce Clark tomorrow. Last question, Kronke. Do you know where the game will be streamed tomorrow?
No, I don't, and I haven't gotten information. So as soon as we get it, we have to give it out actually. I haven't got that information. The last time it was a Qatari stream, which was very good, by the way. Can't complain. The feed came through really, really well. I don't have the feed. I was looking online because there's an app where all the games are listed, and it normally tell you in what country the stream is. But if I go on, I didn't see a location. I didn't see any media outlets where the game would be. So Jamaica versus Jordan.
And
it says no channels found is what it has here.
And
even though it says here TVJ Sports Networks, I don't know if they're just guessing. It says YouTube and TVJ Sports Network. So I'm not sure if this app is guessing where the game is going to be shown, or if they do have, if it's official. Those are in Jamaica. Do you know if the game is being shown at TVJ in Jamaica and on YouTube? Is that correct? If anyone in the chat knows, do you know where the game will be shown tomorrow? I don't have that information.
I said, Porter said, I think Boyd Clark is there for the experience. All right.
Well, if he's there for the experience, but give him some experience.
Right.
The game just need to be around the squad and camaraderie. Whisper is getting experience. He should be getting experience. Yeah. Blake doesn't have to keep the whole game. Let Boyd Clark keep one half and Blake keep one half.
I agree with that.
Oh, by the way, somebody asked this question in the press conference. I think it must have been Tiga, which I thought was an interesting question about Blake. So those in the chat weren't at the press conference. He asked him, he said, when Blake plays in the MLS, he plays off from the back. When he plays from Jamaica, I'm going to put it in those words, he boot the ball downfield. Why is that? Is that a strategy that the coach asked him to do so, or what is it? And Blake basically says, well, he does, I'm going to put it in his words, he does what was required at the time. So what's called for. And he basically said he preferred for him not to make a mistake trying to pass the ball in his box versus if the ball is 90 yards upfield, the risk he's taking is much less than if it's around his goal. Right. And he think there'd be an adverse reaction if he gave away the ball close to his goal versus the ball being booted upfield. So he did ask the question.
And then he threw in a caveat that
someone said, well, JT asked the question versus versus Tigo.
And he threw in a caveat, and he said that if he lost the ball when it played backfield, and people would question why he kick it upfield. But anyway,
so I think it's his choice. I don't think it's a coach's instruction. I think it's his choice.
Right. Basically.
But we know Blake is not totally comfortable with his feet, right? He's gotten better over the years, but he's not a ball-playing goalkeeper. So. Some people say he trusts the Owen say he trusts the Philly players and the Jamaican. I guess he means more than the Jamaican teammates. I'm not sure that's the case. I think it's probably based on facts and circumstances.
Anyway, people, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat. That's for anybody who want to link up at the USA game. Just email me your name, your number, and we'll get in touch when we get up there. Kronke, I'm going to try and get your number from Mannings, man.
Okay.
So,
I'm not coming to the game, by the way. I decided not to take the game.
Yeah.
I thought about it, and I decided not to, actually. I messed up. I thought the game was on a Sunday, and I had to be at work on the Monday. I just realized it's Saturday, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it, but I'll be watching the game.
Well,
if it wasn't in one location, I probably would go to all the games, because I planned my vacation sometime around the Gold Cup. And I was going to do so this year, maybe for the second half. But like last time they had it in Florida, they had all three games in the same location. I would have done that work remotely, but they have moved the goalposts on that. So I thought it was very frustrating.
That would make sense doing it. Why they don't keep all the games,
My understanding is that it's a rehearsal for the 2026 World Cup. And even if you do the World Cup that way, that makes no sense. It's burdensome to fans. It's not logical.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
They should look at it demographically, immigrant-wise. Basically, where are all the West Indians populated, Jamaicans populated? Where are most of the Italians populated? What I mean? Then you're going to stretch it all over the place where people have no ethnic link. You're going to put us in places like Louisiana, Chicago.
Well, we're in St. Louis, which
what the hell is that? You have Jamaicans everywhere in the world, mind you, but come on, the majority of us live on the east coast of the United States, from Florida all the way up to Boston, Massachusetts. Use some common sense.
Yeah, I think if I don't. So when the U.S. plays Jamaica, they don't want to be in any vicinity where tons of Jamaicans are, right? They want the U.S. to have all their supporters there and minimize the Jamaican contingent. Say if it wasn't Atlanta or New York or Florida, then you probably have much more support than you have. You go to St. Louis or out in
Okay.
California someplace.
Kronke, fine. You want to play them on your surface, in your era, in your background. I can understand that for the USA. But you have nations like Trinidad or Nicaragua that have a demographic, population in the tri-state area or down in Florida. Put us there. You know what I'm saying?
No, but think about it. If the US is in our zone, then all the games that we play should be populated by the US fans, no matter where they play, given the distribution across the US. That makes sense. But for the other teams in the other zone, it doesn't make any sense. So you keep flying people around. I'm not sure what the fans around. I'm not sure what the purpose is.
All right. Okay. I see.
All right. So we've come to the end of the program. Any last words that you have, Kyle?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward for a better game tomorrow morning. I hope that I can jump on and see it. And I hope that we'll do very well in the Gold Cup. Black, gold, and green. Win, lose, or draw, Jamaica.
Yeah, look, my last words would be I'm gonna watch the game tomorrow, but it's not a focus of mine. I'm curious to see subsequent to the game what the 23 looks like, and then we can truly predict what the starting lineup would be, what our best team would be, who's gonna play in what position. If all our players are available, so we have the Antonios and the Peanuts and the DJs and the Bells and the Greg Lees, then I think we can put a very competitive team on the field to play against the US in the first game. And we should all remember that US is using their MLS team, which is not a bad team. I think they used it last time and won. It's a good team with good players, but not as strong as the team that they played in the World Cup. There's only 5 players that overlap. And the US game is a big game for me. It's a barometer, a benchmark for us to see where we are and how we'll do for the rest of the tournament. I would expect us to beat Trinidad and any team that comes out of, whether it's St. Lucia or the team that comes out of the qualification final rounds for the Gold Cup. And I expect us to go far in the tournament, but the US game is going to be the benchmark game for us. So.
Right. And let me just finish up, Kronke, one more thing. 5 second, guys. Everybody in the chat room, press the like button. 1, 2, hit the chat button. 3, 4, 5. All right.
The likes haven't moved.
I forgot to plug that in. Anyway.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us.
Right.
As I said, we can't replace Manning's band, but we're here trying to assist in bringing you some content. And let us know in terms of what your perception is and perspective is. I'm sure we do a follow-up. Manning's will do a follow-up program subsequent to the Jordan game, so you should join him. Or if he doesn't, someone will be in his seat. But it is great to see the interest in the football, because I watch some of the other YouTube channels and how much people join those channels. When it's time to play Gold Cup or friendly game, people are really motivated, really involved, want to be part of the whole equation. So let's hope we can get all the players on board. Let's hope the team plays well. And most importantly, regardless of your affiliation with players or anything else, and your perspective on the JFF, it doesn't matter. Let's just support the team, wish them well, and we really hope they do well. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, and hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks. Thanks, Kyle.
All right, cool.